Scared to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
When I was in Iraq, our convoy was hit. It was bad. After I came home, I could still hear booms and see tracer fire. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
With help from DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
Today, I'm part of DAV. We're veterans helping veterans to get the benefits they've earned. And I give my veterans my all.
But there's more to be done and more victories to be won.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Naomi Mathis, thank you for your service. May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Colorectal cancer doesn't stop for COVID-19. Hello, I'm Dr. Cecilia Brewington. If you are age 45 or older, it's time to return to care and get tested. The government requires insurance companies to cover not only colonoscopy, but a range of tests, including virtual colonoscopy and other less invasive exams. Talk to your doctor about your options today. For more information on virtual colonoscopy, visit radiologyinfo.org.
Did you know if you're an adult living with asthma or COPD, getting sick with pertussis may result in severe complications? Pertussis, or whooping cough, is a serious respiratory illness. Vaccination is the best way to help protect against pertussis. Speak to your healthcare provider to ensure you are up to date on your Tdap vaccination. Learn more at lung.org.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time to get up and get your day started.
Morant. Oh! A jawbreaker!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
They get up every morning from the long clocks, wanting to take the 8:15 into the city.
That is right. It is time to get up, get your day going. But the good news is that it is Friday. And it's going to be a warm Friday. Not going to see much sun, but going to be a warm Friday. Which I assume, we're not seeing much sun here. I don't know I don't know if Puxatawny Phil is going to see his shadow or not. I don't know if they've got sun there or not. But it is Groundhog Day, which seems to apply a lot for our basketball teams here in town. It's kind of felt like Groundhog Day every time one of them takes the floor here recently. But it is Groundhog Day. It is Friday as we get ready for the weekend. And yesterday was a busy day. Today is going to be a busy day. It's going to be a busy weekend here in Memphis and the Mid-South as far as sports are concerned. Welcome into Sport 56 Mornings on this Friday, February the 2nd, 2024. I am Eli Savoy. Zach Boyd is here. Greg Gaston is not here today. He'll be back on the program on Monday. Coming up on today's program, plenty to get into from yesterday. The Grizzlies were in action both on the court and off the court yesterday as they took on the Cleveland Cavaliers last night. They'll be back in action tonight on the court against the Golden State Warriors. And they also made a move off the court yesterday as they make a trade to unload some money for next year and get rid of somebody that I know disappoints some people that Steven Adams is no longer going to be a Grizzly, but that is the case. And we'll talk about the trade. We'll talk about the game last night as the Grizzlies fall again after playing a hard-fought game and battling to the end. They just come up a little bit short in the end of that one. Elsewhere around the NBA, some interesting games last night. The All-Star reserves were announced yesterday as well. We'll take a look at who made the All-Star team and maybe who should have made the All-Star team. It is tough to select, but man, there's a couple of guys, one in particular that blows my mind that he is not an All-Star reserve. Now, there will still be some replacements named for some guys who are injured, and so some of those snubs will be able to make that team, but a couple of those that are interesting. You also have news out of the NFL as the final coaching vacancy has been filled, and so we'll take a look at that, what that might mean. There's some rumors about who might be going with that coach and who he might be hiring that could spur another college football head coach opening that would be very interesting as well. There was a big trade in the world of baseball yesterday. Not a whole lot of college basketball last night, but another top 10 team on the road loses to an unranked team, which has been the pattern around college basketball. So a lot of stuff to get into coming up on today's program. I mentioned the weather today. A lot of clouds, but temperatures are supposed to get into the upper 60s. That's right, upper 60s. Here on February 2nd, we're talking about temperatures nearing 70 degrees. That is music to my ears, because I hope to get out onto the golf course this afternoon and take advantage of that warmer weather. Tomorrow, once again, temperature is supposed to be in the mid-60s. A little bit of sunshine. There's a slight chance of rain tomorrow. And then Sunday kind of takes a turn again. It'll be colder. Rain comes in on Sunday as temperatures will only be around the 50-degree mark. But that's some good stuff today and tomorrow, it looks like, despite quite a few clouds in the area. The warmer temperatures certainly are welcome for folks here. Zach Boyd, how are you, sir?
Oh, it's Friday, Eli.
That's good.
That's Friday.
do we have a report on Punxsutawney Phil yet?
They said he didn't see a shadow.
He didn't? Okay, so they got the clouds as well. So that means it's – I always get this backwards. Does that mean – is that good or bad?
That's early spring.
That's early spring. Okay. I always think –
as of right now.
Yes. Well, hey, today feels like early spring. 65 degrees. So there you go. Congratulations on Punxsutawney Phil for another year. Another year in the books.
We should have checked the Long Island Long Island guy to see what his prediction was.
So good on him. Good on Punxsutawney doing his work. What a job. Works one day a year. Doesn't have to do anything else. By the way, currently 40 degrees out there as you get your day started. So last night, again, the Grizzlies in action. And really, it was kind of the exact same game we've seen. It seems like every time out now. Grizzlies play hard, and that's the one thing like with this team right now, you certainly don't have to question anything about effort. Like, these guys go out there, they're playing really hard. They lead for a good chunk of the game, it seems like, or at least they're right there. If they don't lead, they're right there. They're in it. And then at the end, it seems like they kind of, I don't know if it's run out of gas, what it is, or if the other team finally just says, you know what, we need to turn it on and put this team away. And they're able to do that. And that's what Cleveland did last night as the Grizzlies, again, led for a big portion of the game. But then in the final few minutes, they had trouble scoring, some key turnovers. Cleveland hit some big shots, and they're able to pull out the win as the Cavs get it 108-101. The Grizzlies led by Jaren Jackson Jr. again, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 block shots as well. Another good night for Jaren. Santi Aldama with a 18-9 performance. Vince Williams Jr., 17 points, 6 rebounds, couple of assists. Scottie Pippen Jr.'s in the starting lineup. Yes, that's where we are. Here we are. That's where we are in February of the Grizzlies 2024. Scottie Pippen Jr. in the starting lineup, 10 points. G.G. Jackson with 10 points off the bench, but it was a rough night for G.G. And again, this is going to happen. For all the good games that he'll have, he's still a 19-year-old, and he's going to have games where it doesn't look good. And last night, 3 for 14 from the field, 1 for 8 from three-point range. Did get in the face of Max Strus after Strus pushed him when he was going up for an alley-oop. So the youngster showing a little fire, ready to fight Max Strus. It was a rough night for David Roddy as he went 1 for 12 from the field. So those two guys off the bench were a combined 4 for 26 from the field. 4 for 26. The other two guys who came off the bench, one, Jacob Gilliard, 2 for 4 from three-point range for him, and then Trey Jemison. We get our first Trey Jemison signing. New to the team on the 10-day contract, and Jemison goes for 5 points, 2 for 2 from the field, 3 rebounds, a couple of fouls. He's a big dude. I told you he's a big dude. He's got some strength. And I don't know that he's a long-term NBA player, but hey, why not take a look at the guy? And that's what the Grizzlies are doing. We did not get any of Tosan. Oh, boy. What is it?
You're the G League guy. You should know.
We haven't played them this year. We hadn't played him yet. Ebawan. Darn it. Something like that. Anyway, it's something
Call him Tosin.
Something like that. And no Matt Hurd. I don't understand. We didn't get any Matt Hurd. Matt Hurd made a couple threes in there. Why can't we get Matt Hurd again? I don't know what the deal is with that. But the Grizzlies fall once again. They are now on the season 18-30, 5-17 at home, which is crazy. Again, not that they're 18-30, but the difference between the home and road records is bizarre. The fact that they've only won 5, and again, they're probably going to have a better road record this year than they did last year. Makes no sense whatsoever. They will host Golden State tonight. Golden State comes in relatively healthy. Like they've got Steph, they got Clay. Draymond is listed as probable. He has, I think, a knee contusion, but he's listed as probable. They do not have Dario Saric tonight. He'll be out. Moses Moody, Chris Paul, Gary Payton II, who have been out for a while, will be out for Golden State tonight. But the second of a back-to-back for the Grizzlies. We'll see if they decide to sit anybody like Jaren. Namely, would be the guy. There's no reason to sit anybody else. It's they're all young and spry. They're all willing to play. That is for sure. It is funny because Pete Pranica last night said something on the broadcast that reminded me when the hustle first started here in Memphis, and I was doing the games, and I was first started like figuring out where can I get information on the G League, like where can you get information on G League guys, everything else. There was a website that was called 2 Ways in 10 Days. And then Pete said it last night on the broadcast. And it's like literally that could be Grizzlies.com right now. It like the Grizzlies right now basically are 2 ways in 10 days. I mean, outside of Jaren, that's pretty much what this team is. It's either current 2-way guys, former 2-way guys, or guys on 10-day contracts. It's insane. I mean, you just look at the starting lineup last night. Vince Williams Jr., 2-way guy, was former 2-way guy. John Conchar, former 2-way guy. Scottie Pippen, current 2-way guy. Off the bench, Jacob Gilliard, current 2-way guy. G.G. Jackson, current 2-way guy. Trey Jemison, current 10-day guy. Guys that didn't play. Tosan, 10-day guy. Matt Hurt, 10-day guy. Like it is. And yet they play hard. Like they play hard and they battle. I mean, against a Cleveland team that's 30-16 now, they took them down to the wire. And then it was a little bit too much Donovan Mitchell, a little bit too much Karis LeVert. They hit some big shots and they put the game away. By the way, you were at the game, right, Doug?
Yes.
You were down there working. I still cannot figure out how Cleveland won their challenge last night on the play where Jaren Jackson Jr. goes up for the shot, and he was clearly hit on the elbow. Like the guys, I don't remember, was it Wade? I don't remember who it was.
It was Wade.
Was it Wade?
Yeah.
Who swipes down. You can see on the replay, it is clear that he clips the elbow of Jaren Jackson Jr. And like Pete and Brevin, I was with Pete and Brevin. They're like, oh yeah, it's like he clearly hits him on the elbow right there. This shouldn't take long at all. This will be easy. And then here comes Tony Brothers. The challenge is successful. Like, what? How's that? How are you saying he did not foul him? If a guy's going for a shot and the dude hits him on the elbow, that's a foul. That is absolutely a foul.
Yeah. I mean, Jaren had several drives to the basket where, I mean, he got either he got contact from the body or he got swiped down, and there were just no calls for him.
I still don't like, and he didn't give an explanation. Like sometimes some of the refs are good, like they give explanation, like they'll say there was no whatever, no contact, whatever. Like I want to hear what the explanation was. Are they saying there was no contact? Because it is obvious that he hit him on the elbow. That's got to be a foul. If you can look at that replay and tell me that's not a foul, I just don't. I have no idea. And it didn't cost the Grizzlies the game or anything. It's just bizarre when you get a chance to go to replay, see the guy hit him on the arm, and go, yeah, no, we're gonna over. Not only stay with a call or something like that. It's literally, we have decided that what we called on the court was wrong. We see this contact, but we're saying it's not a foul.
Yeah.
Just bizarre.
And then jump ball, by the way. It was loose ball.
Yeah, because then there was no possession, so then it has to go to a jump ball, which I think led to a Cleveland layup.
No. He missed it. Donovan Williams.
Oh, that's right.
He missed it.
Yeah.
He missed it.
Yeah, because Jared tipped it, but he tipped it to Mitchell, and then Mitchell missed the layup. Like they had a run out, but he missed the layup. That's right. So again, I congratulate the Grizzlies on playing hard and doing what they do. It's just unfortunate. They just don't have enough firepower, and at the end of these games, I don't know if it's they run out of gas, the other team turns it on, what it is. Probably a little bit of both. Jaren probably runs a little bit out of gas, and they seem to fall. Off the court yesterday, the Grizzlies make the move of trading Steven Adams, sending him to the Houston Rockets for Victor Oladipo and 3 second-round picks. And this is not a real surprise. Like, this is why I brought up a couple weeks ago the name of Luke Kennard, because Kennard is a guy that teams are going to want for this year. The Grizzlies have to get off some money for next year. They just have to. With Steven Adams on the books for next year, the Grizzlies, before their first-round draft pick, were at like $182 million or something like that committed to next year. So you add in a high draft pick, which they will have, theoretically, if you take that pick, you're talking about like $190 million. Grizzlies can't have a $190 million payroll. That would be, you could talk about how rich Robert Parra is, all that stuff. It would be idiotic in a market like Memphis to have a $190 million payroll. That's like there will be above the second apron of the tax. It's one thing to be a tax-paying team, which probably isn't even smart for the Grizzlies, but they might do it. It would be dumb to be above the second apron. Like that would be a killer for this franchise. They can't afford to do that. No owner would be that dumb. So they have to clear money. And Steven Adams was one of the ways to do that. Luke Kennard is a way to do that. Either you could trade him, you could decline his option for next year. There's a couple, his is a team option for next year for $14 million. So they go with the Steven Adams route for now and get an expiring contract in Oladipo back. They could either waive him. I guess theoretically maybe there's a way you could still trade his contract again. But he's not going to play. Like, he's been out all season too. So you're not going to get anything out of Victor Oladipo. This was simply getting off of money for next year. And they still probably need to get off more money for next year. And we'll see what they do leading up to next week's trade deadline. Are they able to move off of, some of these guys off the bench, a John Conchar, a Laravia, any of these guys, are they able to move any of those contracts to clear up more money, which would clear the path then, if you could get some of those, to then make sure you're able to keep Luke Kennard. Because Luke Kennard certainly has value for the Grizzlies, but he also has a $14 million contract for next year that they have to make a decision on. And it would not surprise me at all if they still trade Luke Kennard to get out of that deal, to create even more financial flexibility for next year. And if they can't trade anybody else, that might be the way they have to go. Nobody, and the other thing about Adams, again, this was an injury that was supposed to be 3 to 5 weeks that has turned into 21 months. So we don't know what Steven Adams is going to be coming back next year. Houston is taking the idea of, we're willing to risk it, that if we can get it, we could use a backup center, and we're willing to risk him coming off an injury that he'll at least be able to contribute and be close to what he was, whatever. Like, Houston's willing to risk that. They don't have salary cap issues because they have so many young guys. They're not in cap hell, somewhat like the Grizzlies are. So they can take that risk. The Grizzlies clear some money. These second-round picks, by the way, this year they get the best and the worst, I believe it is, of Golden State, Oklahoma City, and Brooklyn's picks. So basically you're getting Oklahoma City's, because that'll be the worst of those three. And then either Golden State or Brooklyn's, whichever one is the better pick. And then there's a 2025 pick, which will either be Houston's or Oklahoma City's. They get the better of those two picks. So along with clearing money, you also pick up some draft capital. And either a way of, again, we've seen what the Grizzlies have done with second-round picks. Like, that's their sweet spot. Maybe you use one of those. Like, you're not going to add 3 guys of second-round picks to your roster, but maybe you use, or 2 guys, I guess, this year. Maybe you use those in a trade to move up a little further in the second round. Maybe you sneak into the bottom of the third round. Maybe they get that 30th pick, which is their real sweet spot when it comes to the draft, is the 30th overall pick. It gives you some draft capital to work with this offseason. Maybe to spice up a trade to be able to get somebody to take a Jake Laravia, a John Conchar, something like that. So there's the adding some draft picks also gives them the flexibility, that draft capital that you need maybe to make another trade to clear up some other money and stuff like that. And you also now cleared up a roster spot, which they're in a bit of a roster crunch going forward. Again, not technically right now, but if you do waive Victor Oladipo, then you've got a roster spot open. We've talked about G.G. Jackson. Do they put G.G. Jackson on a regular deal this year? How do they handle that thing? So there's a lot of things to consider there, but they certainly need or can use roster spots. So, we got another week to figure out what else they might do. I still think there will be some other probably small moves, but this certainly is a nice move financially. Yes, it sucks. You would love Steven Adams back next year, ready to go, healthy, right back in the starting lineup, the old Steven Adams. But you don't know that's going to be the case, and more importantly, they had to clear some cap space. They have to clear some cap space for next season. So Steven Adams, who'd have thought that night when he got hurt, and they said he's out 3 to 5 weeks, that we would never see Steven Adams in a Grizzlies uniform again. But that's where we are.
Yeah. And then also, if you think about it, because remember, Steve-O was in Chicago with the team, and who would have thought that would have been the last time the guys would see him?
He was saying his goodbye. Who knew he had to say his goodbyes?
Right.
But
Because I thought that was kind of interesting, kind of looking back at it. Because I was like, yeah, because as I kind of sat and was just thinking to myself, it's like it's kind of random that Steven Adams would just fly out to Chicago to meet up with the Grizzlies. It's like, but I really didn't think of it as much because wasn't sure what it was. But I was like, that's pretty random. Like Chicago of all places. I understand if
Chicago's a great city.
It is a great city. I'm not disparaging Chicago at all. I'm just saying from a basketball optics standpoint. It's like why are you meeting them in Chicago? Like that's a cold weather city. It's like, if anything, you probably want to meet them in Memphis. Like you might want to meet them in Memphis or meet them in LA or Miami or somewhere warm. But hey, who knows? But
and good luck to Steven Adams.
For sure.
Hopefully he's healthy and good, although we don't want the Rockets to be that good, so maybe not that good of luck to Steven Adams. Get Steven and Dylan. Now we got Steven and Dylan together possibly next year if Adams is healthy and ready to go.
Yeah.
Rockets could be pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
If he comes back and is good, like you have him backing up Şengün. They got some pieces.
Oh, he's solid. They got I say they have two of the best centers that can pass the ball really well.
No doubt.
They're not the best, but they're very good at passing the basketball.
Folks, the original Memphis beer, Goldcrest 51, is back Monday. It'll be hitting the shelves of your local stores, bars as well. You can ask for it wherever you get your beer starting on Monday. First brewed in 1906 to 1936 is when it became Goldcrest 51, but they're bringing it back. Now made locally, brewed locally by Soul and Spirits Brewery here in town, and it'll be hitting the shelves on Monday, so ask for Goldcrest 51. John Varlas is up next. It's bone picking season at Sports 56 Mornings here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, 225 Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text JUDGE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text JUDGE to 42424. That's JUDGE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel, évidemment.
Babbel, language for life.
celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm here with Mark, the owner of Dyer's, out in Collierville's historic town square, where they've been cooking up them burgers since 1912, the old-fashioned way. Mark, what's going on in life? I see you got your 4 kids with you. What do they love about Dyer's?
Man, they love everything about Dyer's. They love all the great food that we serve, and they really like eating our good food and watching some of their favorite sports.
Braden, what do you like at Dyer's?
I like a bacon burger with fries, a milkshake, and with a Tigers game in the background.
Carter, who's your favorite football team?
The Carolina Panthers, and just with some macaroni with that sounds amazing.
My man Beckham, what's your favorite food over at Dyer's?
We like the double cheeseburgers.
Kinley, what is your favorite dish over at Dyer's?
Daddy's cheeseburgers and the Dallas Cowboys game in the background.
Just remember, everybody, bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team out and eat at our place.
So head on over to Dyer's in Collierville's historic town square.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Really starting to pick up over here on Austin P Highway, getting up on that ramp to I-40. 40 westbound is also increasing with more volume just in the last 15-20 minutes on 40 westbound from Germantown Parkway all the way up to Witten Road, coming up through South Haven right now. That looks good on 55 northbound as it continues to build up from DeSoto County up towards South Memphis. Hey, Weiber's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your Valentine's Day headquarters. Go see them this weekend. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, 7:28 here in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. That's Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road. Check out their floor model sale, which continues over at Family Leisure. This hour of the program also brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware. Time now for bone picking season with John Varlas.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas of the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep sports coverage and more at dailymemphian.com. Now, here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
John Varlas from the Daily Memphian joins us each and every Friday. Hello, sir.
Hey, good morning, Eli. How's it going?
It's going well. I've got a bone to pick today, but I cede the floor to you first for your bone picking.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, and as usual, there's so many to choose from, but I'll keep it quick because, you know, there's a lot of sports to get to. Predictive typing, Eli. What are your thoughts on predictive typing? Because this week, that has just vexed me to no end. My phone has done some sort of update.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And here, you know, and I'm typing away. And the goal with predictive typing is to accurately predict words you commonly use, right? So, you know, so like I'm typing out the word Whitehaven, right? I'd probably type out the word Whitehaven, you know, multiple times a week, but I'm getting like white caps, white head, you know, all this weird stuff that I would never type. And then sometimes it starts just throwing up random like French words too. Like I type in THE, like I'm going to type in theory or therapy, and it's throwing up all these French words instead. So I'm like, I'm done. I'm over the whole predictive typing. Just don't predict what I'm going to say. Let me get there on my own, and I think we'll be better off Apple.
I think you could turn it off.
Can I?
I think there's a way to turn it off.
Okay, well, I would appreciate if anybody can hit me on the old Twitter machine and let me know how to do that. I would be most delighted.
The only reason because I think I stumbled upon it one time. I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. But the problem I have like with the latest update is like it's like going like. Some of it's like 3 words ahead, like it's doing like a phrase.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't even know when it, like, if it is correct. How do I get it to? I'm like, okay, you got it correct. Like, how do I get that to post?
Well
I don't even know. Like, I'm like, I see it. Like, I want that. You are correct, sir. You've read my mind beautifully, but I don't know what button to hit to make it all just do that.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. I just assume it not predict for me. That's the thing.
Sometimes it nails it.
Yeah,
I give it credit. Sometimes it That AI out there is like, boom. No, dude, you got my mind. You read me.
And it does the same thing on Twitter. It does the same thing on I think on Slack, where we're doing our inter-office communication. It seems like it's just everywhere, and it's just really annoying. I mean, yesterday I spent a good 5 minutes because I was trying to type in the word accommodated, and it was giving me accommodate or accommodating, and it was just seems like it was just switching back and forth, and I couldn't get the one I needed. But it was I'm just so over the predictive typing, and if anybody out there knows how to turn it off, just like I say, hit me up. I will be delighted to hear from you, because I am technologically inept, as you may have guessed, Eli.
I'm during the break. I'm pretty sure I stumbled upon it one day. I don't know if I'll be able to find it again, because I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for something else, and suddenly I saw this thing of like this little switch that said like predictive typing on or off, and I was like, how about that? Yeah. But I again try to find out where I was. I may not do it. Tim tells me that he thinks it's the space bar that you hit to make it post what it said. Okay, man, I'll try it again. There was one day I tried everything, and I felt like I tried everything, and I was like, I don't know. It keeps getting me right, but I can't. It's useless. My bone to pick is this. I don't know if it's what it is this week, because it seems like it's just been this week more than any other time. There have been more people this week when I'm coming in the morning that are driving like 40 miles per hour on the interstate. And I don't know why. The only thing I could guess is maybe the potholes.
Yeah,
people are they're like driving really slow because they don't want to blow a tire, or they want to be able to react to the potholes.
And you'll probably I'm probably in that mix, because I'm deathly afraid of these potholes they got out here, because I know I'm just going to be the one rolling down the street at 50, 60 miles per hour and hit one and blow one out. I mean, they're all over the place. There's a gigantic one, coming up on Ridgeway, as you're going to turn left onto Mount Moriah to get here to the station. I mean, they're all over the place, and it's going to take ages to fill them. But and that's probably
that's my guess.
But yeah, no, it's frustrating when you get behind a slowpoke. But as the person that's often the slowpoke himself, so I mean, you're probably you're probably the guy behind cussing at me, but I get it. Yeah, it's a problem. And I'll add this too: the sun as you turn. How do you come into this?
Well, the sun's not up when I get here.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah,
I'm in the dark.
Yeah, the sun is a problem. If you turn, like I come down Ridgeway and turn left on Mount Moriah, then turn left to get into the station. The sun, as you're on Mount Moriah facing and turning left into the station, it's
blinding.
It's incredible. So enough bones. But, but there's never a shortage.
No, that's for sure. So what's happened in the world of high school basketball now that we've gotten the snow all passed and we're resuming action, and I guess they're trying to reschedule a lot of games and stuff like that. What's been happening in high school basketball?
Well, some really good action this week. I saw some really good games. Tuesday was the big rematch between Bartlett and Cordova, the teams ranked first and second in the state in Class 4A. The first meeting was on January 6th, and Bartlett won that one 63-60 in overtime at Bartlett. So round two was at Cordova. They're in the same district, so they played twice in the regular season. And Cordova got round two 49-43. Really great atmosphere, Eli. I mean, you're a high school basketball guy, and you've been around for a long time. It was one of those old school atmosphere, full house. It was full. Halfway through the girls' game, I mean, it was packed. It was, everybody was into it. It was a good game. Two really good teams, really intense, and it was just a really good, awesome throwback atmosphere. And I don't know what that's going to do in the state rankings, because you got other teams around the state to factor in, but I assume with Cordova being second and them beating Bartlett, which was first, I assume a lot of people will move them up to first. But that was an awesome game. Then MUS Briarcrest was a big rivalry game on Wednesday. That one came down to the wire. Briarcrest is leading by 1 point. They got a kid on the free throw line for 2 free throws late with a chance for a 3-point lead. He misses both.
Wow.
Brandon Nicholson comes comes down for MUS, hits the game winner in the lane, and the Owls get a big victory. And that was, huge because Briarcrest was the number one team in the state in their classification. So a big win for MUS. They're 18-3, playing some really good ball. Obviously this does nothing, to Briarcrest chances. They still got a terrific team and a great chance.
Is Nicholson a heck of a basketball player too?
He's really good. He's probably their best basketball player. And man, what a season this kid is having. I mean, he was all-state football player as a defensive back. Signed with Stanford, had led MUS to just a tremendous football season, and now he's having a great basketball season. I mean, just what a senior year for this kid. I mean, can you imagine being Brandon Nicholson? I mean, big shot football player. You're going to Stanford. Then as soon as that ends, you take some time off to refocus your training and rest a little bit. And now you're
now you're hitting game winners.
Big man on campus, and you're hitting game winners. I mean, yeah, it's incredible.
That's good stuff.
So yeah, Brandon's having a great year. Huge win for MUS, and then last night I was down the street at Ridgeway checking out the Roadrunners. They have a terrific team in Class 3A, and again, so much history over there at Ridgeway. 5 state championships. The last one was in 2008. They went to the state tournament last year. It was the first time since 2008 that they had been to the state tournament, and I think they've got a really good chance to go back again. The stars from that team last year, Emmanuel Allen and Brian Carter, they're back, and they added a transfer from Hamilton, a kid named Marlon McShane, who's just come in there and given them a really, really reliable third scoring option. And, Marlon kind of took over the game in the third quarter last night. He scored 13 of his 22 points in the fourth quarter. He told me after the game he kind of went Kobe mode, and I was having trouble hearing him. I said, Cobra mode? And he said, no Kobe. And I was like, COVID mode? And he said, no, Kobe Bryant, the basketball player. Oh, okay, Kobe, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense now. So it gets a little loud there at the end of the game. But no, Marlon's a great kid, and with him, Emmanuel Allen, Brian Carter, Joshua Thornton. I mean, they got 4 guys that can go out and give you 20 points on a given day, and that when you have that on a high school team, it's tough. So big win for Ridgeway against Power Center, and if you're in the neighborhood over at Ridgeway tonight, they're going to have a special event as well. Melrose is coming over, and they're going to retire Derek Byers' jersey, former Vanderbilt player. Yeah. SEC Player of the Year, had a really good pro career overseas, was drafted in the NBA and had a good pro career overseas. So they're going to honor Derek tonight. Believe it or not, Eli, that's the first jersey they've ever retired at Ridgeway. All the great players over there, this is the first one they've retired. So that's going to be 7:30 tonight as Melrose comes to town.
So we've got, again, there's you got makeup games because of all the snow issues that we had, but we're getting a couple weeks probably away from postseason?
Yeah, probably so. Next week, regular season action will continue, and then probably around Valentine's Day, district tournament starts, and that's when things get serious. You want to get in that. You want to finish in the top 4 of the district so that you can advance to the region and keep your season alive. But yes, it's a serious time for a lot of these teams. We're getting to the end of the season where it's really fun, where we're going to be heading to a lot of games. Hope the fans will be out at a lot of games. But yeah, I mean, we saw playoff atmosphere this week with Bartlett and Cordova and MUS and Briarcrest, and then last night with Ridgeway and Power Center. 3 really good games this week.
Speaking of prep sports, we got a text message from Fred, who lives in Savannah and listens every day, and this is amazing here. Says, I'd like to give a shout out to the Bartlett boys bowling team for winning the state title last week. Which congratulations to the Bartlett boys.
Shout out to Bartlett.
That's not the amazing part. The next part is the amazing part. Says, I would also like to acknowledge the Hardin County ladies bowling team for winning their 15th title. They've won the last 11 straight, and over that period, their record is 197-0. Now that is a dynasty.
That's like the Patriots and who else?
Like UCLA won the 11 straight title or what?
I think it was like 9 or something.
But they were not. They didn't. They had. And what was their winning streak? 73 games.
No, it was like 80 something.
83 something like that. When but 197-0.
That's some good bowling.
Like what is? What's going on in Hardin County that we're just producing girl bowlers?
It's interesting. I mean,
Like
I don't know. I can't say that I've ever been to Hardin County. I don't even know if there's a lanes there, honestly. But
there must be the whole town must be bowling lanes.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. But shout out to those girls. I mean, that's the thing, Eli. Whenever you line up on the field of competition, the goal is to win, and if you can do that 200 times in a row, I mean, you're really onto something, whatever that is. So yeah, shout out to those ladies. That is super impressive. If
somebody ever beats them, what a story.
Have you ever? Well, yeah, take down the Giants, right? But no, have you seen a lot of high school bowling here lately? It's interesting. I know, you were telling me off air that you spent a lot of time around the lanes as a kid. So it's interesting. A lot of the kids, they don't.
They're going to the two-handed style?
Exactly. They're going to the two-handed style.
The Pro Bowlers are doing that, I see now.
What's the advantage to that? Is it like a strength thing when you're younger and maybe not as strong? Or
I have no idea, but I've just because I was growing up, my parents were big into bowling. They bowled everywhere, all bowled in leagues, everything else. I bowled in a league as a kid. I'd go watch them bowl. I was always around bowling, and my dad watched bowling on television constantly. So I was.
Oh, that was a Saturday afternoon staple for yours truly as well.
Yeah. Chris Schenkel and company. I watched them all the time.
Before Wide World of Sports came on, I think there was always a bowling tournament.
But now, I have seen a couple times, I've noticed bowling. I'll be flipped through the channels. There will be bowling on, and a lot of the guys are doing that two-handed style. And I have no idea who brought that onto the scene. Why? I don't know. But it is. I've thought about it. I wonder if I could try that, but I haven't been bowling in a long time. But I don't know. I have no clue why that has come around.
Well, I'm sure the 15 people that are tuning in to listen to me right now are going to tune out to this. But it seems like with that two-handed style, it seems like just from looking at it, the ball is released a little bit higher, whereas if you do the one-handed thing, you're a little bit closer to the ground when you release it. And I don't know if that has any difference or not. But
I'm sure some analytics person discovered that this was the way to go. The rotations, RPMs of the ball were more or less or more consistent, something like that with the two-handed style.
Who is the Michael Lewis of bowling?
That one I don't know. I have no. It might be somebody in Hardin County. It might be somebody in Hardin County that discovered all this.
They've cracked the code.
I want to know if their girls are using the one-handed or two-handed style, because that's the secret. They don't lose. They are whatever they're doing. Everybody should be doing.
Well, they're probably using the two-handed style because these high school girls. I mean, a lot of them aren't very big and very muscular, so the two-handed style is probably easier. High school girls typically aren't very big, so especially on the bowling team. I mean, the bigger girls are playing volleyball and basketball. They're not bowling. So I don't know. Maybe they've cracked the code over there at Hardin County.
Well, they clearly have. John Varlas is here for the Daily Memphis. Of course, you can follow him on Twitter or X at John Varlas. We come back, we'll get a little bit into the Tigers and their doldrums and the Grizzlies and the trade yesterday as well. Get John's thoughts on all of that. This side of the program is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware. It's corner of White Station and Quince, right by Billy Hardwick's All-Star Lanes, right next door. You can go do some bowling and do some shopping over at East Memphis Ace Hardware right there, all in that same little shopping center. East Memphis Ace Hardware is everything you need for all those projects around the house. Of course, Big Green Egg. They're a platinum dealer with a Big Green Egg. It's where I got my egg. It's where I get my egg supplies as well. All the egg accessories. You can find that there, and you can find a great staff to help you find whatever it is you're looking for. East Memphis Ace Hardware, corner of White Station and Quince. Back with another segment with John Varlas right after this. Sports 56 mornings here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wallow said hello.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life. So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt! Yeah!
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at LawnSolutionsInc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware at the corner of White Station and Quince. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, 749 here in the Family Leisure Studios. Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd, John Barleth is here. All right, John, what's your take, feeling, whatever, of what in the hell has gone wrong with the Memphis Tigers?
Boy, I don't know, Eli. They fooled me because when they were in that really good stretch in the non-conference and you know they had beaten all those teams, I thought this team really had the potential to be Penny's best team. You know, I said Sweet 16, Final 8 potential. They just look so good, and somehow it's gone all to you know what in a handbasket. and you know I've thought about this. And I'm certainly not blaming the kid, but it's all coincided with the arrival of Naquan Tomlin. I mean, it's you know when he arrived, they had that series of close games, which they did win.
Yeah, Vanderbilt was his first game, right, which is with this stretch started right at the Vanderbilt game.
So they had that stretch of close games where they played poorly and took these teams down to the wire, and they did win. You know, Quinterly bailed them out in a couple of games with game-winning shots, and you know they were able to weather that. And you'd be like, okay, well, you know they're not playing great, but they're still winning, and that's the important thing. But now those you know, the not playing great has translated into losing. I don't know, Eli. It's just really odd. I have to, and without covering the team, without being around it, without talking to people about the team on a regular basis, I just have to think there's something going on in the locker room. There's just something that's not right. The chemistry is off. The chemistry has been ruined or tainted, or whatever good mojo they had during that streak is not there anymore, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what the dynamics in play are, but you know, it's not too late to figure out, but it's like 11, it's like 11:56, right? They need to. It's getting close to midnight. They need to kind of start figuring things out. I mean,
the fat lady's tuning up the voice.
Well, she's Kate Smith.
She's getting some water.
Yeah, she's clearing her throat. She's running through the scales and it's not good. And I listen to you guys all day. I listen to you guys. I listen to Brett and Bryant. I mean, you guys all hit it right on the head. It's the Rice game was really bad. I mean, a team comes in here with no tradition, I mean, they don't really have anything going for them this year either. I mean, and they're
bad. I mean, they're a really bad team.
They outplayed you. They were the better coached team. They were the more poised team down the stretch. When they lost the lead, they didn't panic. They stuck to what they were doing. They communicated. They ran their sets. They executed. They had a game plan and they executed it, which is something they've rarely done this year, given their record. So I mean, it's just really interesting. I mean, I just lean towards, there's just something internally not right, chemistry wise, locker room wise, personality wise. These guys, as great a basketball players as they are, just aren't meshing for whatever reason. And sometimes when you're putting a team together, you can't just take the best guy from Team A and the best guy from Team B. Sometimes you have to take lesser guys that are comfortable doing the dirty work, the grunt work, so you can have a better team. I think we saw that with last year's team. I think last year's team was the guys on that team were quite content to let Kendrick Davis and DeAndre Williams lead the show, and the rest of the guys just did what they did. I don't think that kind of dynamic is here on this year's team, and I think that's a part of it, but I think it goes deeper than that as well.
Of course, Wichita State comes in tomorrow. Now, Wichita State's got to be like, gosh, how bad are we? We're the one team Memphis. That's the one game Memphis has disposed of somebody pretty easily.
Yeah.
And they did that on the road, but every other conference game has either been a loss or come down to the final shot of the game, other than Wichita State. So maybe Wichita State is the team. They can kind of get right against. At least there's some good vibes when you see them. Hey, we've already beaten this team badly. But I don't even know at this point. I at this point you can't really be surprised by anything.
No, I don't. I mean, you know me. I don't bet, but I mean, if I did, there's no way I'd be taking the Tigers as a favorite at this point. I'd be whoever they're playing. I'd be taking the underdog plus the points. I mean, it's just until further notice, they're just not playing good basketball. And yeah, Wichita State. I mean, they're going to come in here and think, like you said, they're going to say, man, we lost to these guys, so we need to figure out our stuff. Everybody else is beating them, so I mean, we can too. And I think they're going to come in here with a good mindset. I think they're going to be hungry to show that. They're a better team than what they showed in Wichita a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's going to be another battle. I really do. I certainly don't think any of Memphis's problems have been solved or even really addressed. I mean, the lineup they rolled out there the other night was mind-boggling. I mean, if you
makes no sense.
I listened to all you guys, anticipating who the lineup would be, and nobody had Jonathan Pierre on
the bingo card. That did not exist on the bingo card.
Right. So that was completely out of left field, and I mean, and who knows what they're going to try out there against Wichita State, but it's really weird, Eli. It's just a weird situation, and honestly, if somebody wanted to do a lot of digging and a lot of research, you could probably put together a really interesting long form book or podcast or a long form article on this season, because I suspect there's some really interesting dynamics working beneath the surface that's leading to all this that's manifesting itself on what you're seeing on the court.
If they miss the tournament, which would be again a colossal disaster after you were ranked in the top 10, all that, do you think one way or another, I don't there will only be one way, I think, but do you think there's any chance that Penny's not back next year?
I don't think I think he's stubborn like most great athletes are. I think most guys who've accomplished a lot, and women who've accomplished a lot in sports, they have to have a stubborn streak. So I don't think he would quit. I don't think he would voluntarily step down, and I don't think
anybody's firing him.
And I don't think they would fire him. But that's the thing when you hire a Penny Hardaway, it can only end. The only way it cannot end badly is to win a championship. Everything else is going to be a shortcoming, and that's kind of the risk that they took bringing him in here. If it doesn't work, it's going to end badly. And right now it's not working. And right now there's a lot of discontent brewing. I mean, people love Penny, they respect him. He's a good guy, but you got to take that outfit. You got to take that out of it. Any other coach would be being criticized for this, and rightly so, and I think you have to apply the same standards to that and set your like aside for them and just look at it from a coaching standpoint. They're not getting the job done, and if they go from a top 10 team to a team that misses the tournament completely, that's an abject disaster. There's no other way to put it.
He is John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. You can read his work at thedailymemphian.com. Of course, you can find him on Twitter or X at John Varlas as well, and he's with us each and every Friday. John, thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Have a good weekend, man.
Thanks, man. I'm going to go.
You're going where? What games you going to?
I'm going out tonight on an undercover assignment. I'm going to go do some feature reporting. But we'll definitely have a good feature coming up from tonight. But no, check out all our coverage at the Daily Memphian. But no, after I leave here, actually, I'm going to go oil up the lanes and polish up the ball.
You need to go undercover over to Hardin County and figure out what the secret is with the girls bowling team over there at 197-0. Man, how many do they got to win in a row before we get some attention for these girls? 250?
Yeah. 197-0 is not cutting it. Slackers.
We'll be back hour number 2, including Matt Dillon coming up at about 8:25. The Tiger Basketball Reporter. We'll get more into the Tigers in our final hour today. Brandon Lang, Sean Merriman as well. Just hour number 1 in the books. It's been brought to you by East Memphis Ace Hardware. It is Sports 56 Mornings here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
How many times have we said that Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect bar, is not a sports bar? Granted, much of the year, sports are one of the main attractions at any bar. But at Bell Tavern, a great time can be had without having to keep checking the score. It's a slow time of year for sports, but it's never a slow time of year to go to a great bar with the perfect atmosphere, coldest beer, and the nicest people you're likely to meet. Chances are, even if you're a huge sports fan, when you leave after a visit to Bell Tavern, you'll be surprised to realize you never thought about them once. You were having too good a time at Bell Tavern.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the all-new TaylorMade QI10 Max Driver, combining TaylorMade distance with the forgiveness of 10K inertia. Experience your drives in 10K. Visit us in-store for a free custom fitting at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit, no problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew with specials every night. Mississippi Monday, Tuesday Ladies Night, Wing Wednesday, and Thursday Hotel Guest Appreciation Day. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still a lot of traffic volume coming over the bridge here on 40 East over from West Memphis, headed towards Midtown. It still looks pretty good right now up to South Haven. It got a little bit crowded earlier. Certain parts of DeSoto County on 55 going northbound all the way into South Memphis. Still not too bad yet over here on 40 as you pass Sycamore View Road. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is located 7525 Highway 64 is your Valentine's Day headquarters. Go see them this weekend and shop local. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever. Woo!
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. It is hour number 2, Sports 56 Mornings, 8:02 here on this Friday morning, Groundhog Day. Again, Puxatawny Phil did not see his shadow, did not. So early spring, and today is going to feel like spring because it's supposed to get up into the mid-60s. Not a whole lot of sun, lots of clouds, but warm temperatures. And it will continue to warm up throughout the day up into those, again, 67, 68 they're talking about now. It's only 41 right now. So it's a little weird when you leave the house in the morning trying to figure out wait a second, it's like 30-something now, but it's going to be 60-something later. It gets a little confusing. But it is supposed to warm up. Again, tomorrow's supposed to be pretty warm once again. Maybe a little bit of sunshine, slight chance of rain tomorrow. And then Sunday, rain comes in and it cools back down into the low 50s, upper 40s type stuff. But then next week, I think it is supposed to be nice again and start warming up a little bit once again. Welcome in here in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. That is Family Leisure, with their floor model sale going on right now at 2120 Whitten Road. Coming up, we will have Matt Dillon in about 20 minutes or so, a little over 20 minutes. Matt Dillon for the Tiger Basketball Report, as we'll get more into the Tigers. Everybody knows about what's going on with the 4-game losing streak. Wichita State will be here tomorrow. Again, that's the one team in conference play that the Tigers have actually handled pretty easily. They did that in Wichita. See if they're able to do that tomorrow here at home and end that losing streak. The Grizzlies, losers last night to Cleveland, a game which they battled, led for a lot of the game, but could not hold on in the end. Cleveland gets the win 108-101. Grizzlies back in action tonight. Golden State in town. The Grizzlies will try and get another win. Of course, they already had that win against Golden State on Martin Luther King Day. See if they can make it 2 wins here at home over the Warriors. And off the court yesterday, the Grizzlies making news as they, and not signing a guy to a 10-day contract. That's not the news. They actually made a trade, trading Steven Adams to the Houston Rockets for Victor Oladipo, really for Victor Oladipo's contract, and 3 second-round draft picks. And Ron texted in on the Sports 56 listener line. If you want to chime in, you always can. 901-360-8255. 901-360-8255. That is the Sports 56 listener line, which you can call or text. And we do have an open segment here. If you would like to get a phone call in, you're more than welcome to do so, or text in. You can do that. So the Grizzlies traded Adams for another guard. No. They traded Adams for cap space.
Yeah.
That's it. Like
just for the contract.
Literally, that is it. They traded Steven Adams for money off the books for next year and for some draft capital with the second round picks. Victor Oladipo, not going to play here. Steven Adams had next year at $12.5. Is $12.5 million for Steve next year?
Yes.
$12.5 million next year on his contract. Victor Oladipo does not. His is an expiring deal. Again, the Grizzlies have way too much money committed for next year already. But when you consider the fact that you've got Ja and Dez on max contracts, Jaren's deal is great. Like, it is a great deal for what he is and what you're paying him. But it's still, was it $25 million next year?
25 and then 23 to end that contract.
And then you got Marcus Smart at, what, $20 million, I believe? Right around the $20 million mark?
He's at 18 right now. He got 19 next season and then 21 the last one.
So those four guys are what? 100 something next year? What's Ja's next year and Desmond next year?
Ja's next year is 36. And Dez will be the start of his max deal at 34.
Yeah, so 36, so that's 70. You add in Jaren at 25, that's 95. And then Marcus Smart at 19. So you're talking $114 million between those four guys. Like, and again, if you pick up Luke Kennard, if Luke Kennard is still here and you pick up his option, that's another $14 million right there. So now you're getting up close to $130 million on five guys.
And don't forget about Brandon Clark.
Yeah, and then Brandon Clark, what's his?
12.5.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like that, like they just, they had with Steven Adams for next year, before adding their first round pick, they were at like $180 something million. So they had to get off some money. They got off Steven Adams. We'll see what else they're able to get off there. I mean, they're not done, I don't think, as far as wanting to clear, what do they do with Kennard? Would they trade him now before the deadline next week? Do they trade him in the offseason? I don't think they would just decline the team option. I don't see any way that would happen. That would be dumb. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if they get out of that $14 million one way or another.
I wouldn't be surprised a lot of teams. I'm more than sure a lot of teams have called about Luke.
Yeah, he's the one guy. That's why I brought him up a couple weeks ago. Like, he's the one guy in this team that teams would actually call you and say, "Hey, could we get Luke Kennard?"
Right.
Like, there's nobody else that the other team is calling you basically going, "Hey, how could we get this guy?" All the other guys are the Grizzlies talking to teams going, "Hey, would you take this guy off our hands?" Basically. We need to clear up some roster space. We need cap space. Like, right. Would you take a Jake LaRavia? What would we have to give you to take Jake LaRavia? I wouldn't be shocked if there was a team or two who might think, listen, Zaire's 21 years old. If we had to give up nothing to get him, to take a look at him, maybe a change of scenery, and we could unlock something in him, there might be a team or two out there that would be, again, you're not getting anything in return. They would not be willing to give up anything to get him. But I could see a team who would be, you know what? A kid who's still that young, maybe we could unlock something in him.
And I know, was it Bobby Marks on ESPN? Mm-hmm. He had an article out about different avenues the Grizzlies could go about with trades or anything with the back end of the roster. I know the biggest one that he put out there was John Conchar to the Celtics for like a protected first.
Yeah, Conchar, while the contract is long because it goes on for 3 more years. It's only like $6 million. Like that again is very affordable in today's NBA. And he's a guy who could come in and you put him down on your bench, and when he comes into games, he generally doesn't hurt you. Like, you can put him in a game and feel like he's not going to, because he's not going to go out there and take 12 shots and shoot you out of it. He's just he'll get some rebounds, he'll block some shots, he'll score when he can. Like, so certainly I think Conchar is the other most tradable guy probably, as far as you don't have to basically give up a bunch of other stuff to make a team take him off your hands. You could just, again, you're not going to get a ton in return for him, but you can get a team to take him. But again, we'll see what happens as far as that is concerned as the deadline approaches. But yes, the Grizzlies do make the move with Steven Adams yesterday. Now, with Victor Oladipo, most likely they waive him. I guess there is still the possibility of trading his contract again somewhere, but they wanted the expiring contract, so I don't know for sure. I don't see why there would be a trade in the works with him. It seems like it would mostly just be them getting waived. All-Star reserve named last night. In the East, Bam Adebayo, Paolo Banchero, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle. It's interesting because they name all those, and then Brunson got 40 last night. Maxey got 51, I think it was.
Yeah, 51.
Donovan Mitchell had a good game here. So, these guys all are like, hey, we're going to go ahead and prove why we are all-star reserves. In the West, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Karl Anthony Towns. Obviously, these guys are all great players, having great seasons. I'm not saying really there's anybody here that doesn't deserve to be an all-star. However, it blows my mind, quite frankly, that Domantas Sabonis was not named an all-star. He's averaging 20 points, leading the league in rebounds at 13 a game, and 8 assists per game. He's close to averaging a triple-double as a center. And this team is good. For the Kings not to get either him or De'Aaron Fox on the team is crazy to me. And I would take Sabonis. To me, Sabonis should be on there ahead of Karl Anthony Towns. Minnesota doesn't need two guys on there. And for the Kings to get nobody is crazy. With the De'Aaron Fox is averaging 27 points, 5.5 assists, and 4 rebounds. Trae Young in the East. I'm not a huge Trae Young fan. Dude's averaging 27 points and 10 assists. And not an all-star. And again, he's probably going to get on the team because you've got Julius Randle and Joel Embiid, who will both be replaced. Randle for sure. Embiid, I would assume, is not going to try and play in the All-Star game. Embiid, by the way, it is a meniscus injury in that left knee. They didn't say it's a tear. And he's out for the weekend. They're still trying to figure out treatment-wise what they want to do and what might work. But it's, like I said yesterday, it's pretty much a guarantee now that Joel Embiid is not going to be able to be MVP, All-NBA, because he only has 4 games to miss. Do they play once or twice this weekend?
Talking about the Sixers?
Yeah. Because he's out for the weekend, they said. So if he misses 2 more games this weekend, then he'd be down. He only could miss 2 the rest of the way. He's going to miss more than that.
So they got 1 game tomorrow against Brooklyn.
Okay. So by the end of the weekend, again, they don't even know what they're going to do to treat this thing yet, but he will only be able to miss 3 more games to be able to qualify.
Yes, and so after that Saturday game against Brooklyn, they got the Mavericks, they got the Warriors, and got the Hawks at home.
I would assume he will miss at least the next 4. I mean, if they don't even know how they're going to try and treat this thing, he ain't going to be healthy for a while. I would be surprised if we see him before the All-Star break again. So he will be out of all these awards and everything else, which is terrible news for Philadelphia. But again, they do get a win last night as Maxey goes for 51. How about the Lakers last night? No Anthony Davis, no LeBron James, playing at Boston, and the Lakers win.
Of course they did.
Of course they did. The NBA is a weird world that that's again. You try and bet on the NBA, good luck to you. Again, at Boston, and Boston has Tatum, and they've got Brown, and they got Porzingis, and they got Boston's healthy. At home, Lakers, no Davis, no LeBron. Austin Reeves goes for 32, and they win at Boston. The Lakers started a lineup of Torian Prince, Jared Vanderbilt, Jackson Hayes, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves. And they beat the Boston Celtics in Boston. You go figure it out. Knicks, I mentioned Jalen Brunson goes for 40. They win over Indiana. 9 straight wins now for the Knicks. 15-2 in their last 17 games. So they are cruising right now. And Brunson, we're talking about MVPs. Like Jalen Brunson is a legit MVP candidate, especially if the Knicks keep rolling like this. He's one of those guys. Again, because you're going to eliminate Embiid because a game's missed. You start looking around. Jalen Brunson. Another guy we didn't mention the other day, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, I was going to bring him up.
Because Oklahoma City is having a great year, and he's unbelievable. So he would, Brunson, SGA, Luka, as far as guards go, they would probably be your 3 top guards as far as MVP possibilities go. But Jalen Brunson has been incredible. The Knicks, again, without Julius Randle, they're just rolling. 15-2 now, their last 17, and they've won 9 straight. The 76ers, by the way, were fined $75,000. New Orleans was fined $25,000 for violating the injury reporting rules. 76ers got hit for that game, was it last Saturday against Denver, when at the last second, all of a sudden, Joel Embiid was out?
Yeah.
And so they got hit for that, and they have been hit in the past. So that's why theirs is $75,000. New Orleans didn't put Trey Murphy III on an injury report, but he should have been. So they got hit with a $25,000 fine.
Is there like a deadline to the injury report, or is it just up to the minute right before the tip-off?
I don't know what exactly their rules are, but I know the league doesn't like what happened with Joel Embiid, where suddenly a star player like that, because again, it wasn't like he suffered the injury in pregame warmups. Like suddenly before the game, you say he's out when he wasn't even on the injury report. And it wasn't like he got hurt. That knee injury is something he had. And so that was an ABC game too. Like that's not going to make the league very happy. That's when Adam Silver gets really mad, when you're supposed to have Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic on ABC, and suddenly Joel Embiid right before the game they say, "Oh yeah, by the way, he's not playing." That doesn't make Adam Silver very happy.
He's like the Godfather. It's like, you owe me money.
Yes.
You owe me money.
That is they don't take kindly to that stuff. In NFL news, Dan Quinn will go to the Commanders. You're a Cowboys fan like myself. What do you feel about losing Dan Quinn?
So I appreciate everything that Dan has done coming in here, because people forget, like he followed up Mike Nolan for that one season in Dallas, and I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate everything he did. He made the defense opportunistic at times, like historically opportunistic at times, but for like the second, third straight year, like it's the same issue. It's running, like they're just getting gashed on the ground every time. Every time in the playoffs, you're facing a really good running team, and they just can't stop the run for some strange reason. Now, I'm glad that he got an opportunity to be a head coach. Now, I will say that, because I'm not here just to say, oh, fire this guy so he get hired to be a head coach, even though I was on that Kellen Moore train to get him to a head coaching job. But I think it was just time. It was time.
I'm with you. Like I think Dan Quinn did a great job. Like he certainly made the from what the defense was before he got there to where it is now. But yeah, it's like they have these epically bad performances against teams when they start running the ball against them, and it's happened in the playoffs. Again, the last thing he did as the DC was not the last game was not a memorable one. That's for it. We'll remember it, but it was not memorable. But yeah, I'm happy for him. There is talk that the Cowboys may look at bringing in Ron Rivera as his replacement. So it could end up being a trade, Dan Quinn for Ron Rivera. It is interesting that he goes into the NFC East to the Commanders, where now, he certainly knows the Cowboys offense. So we'll see what he's able to do against the Cowboys offense working with the Commanders. There's talk that he might bring Chip Kelly to Washington as his offensive coordinator, which would open up the UCLA head coaching job. We just had the Boston College coach leave to go be a defensive coordinator in the NFL. Now there's the talk. Chip Kelly was supposedly interviewed with the Raiders, although they're going to go with Cliff Kingsbury, it looks like. So Cliff Kingsbury will be Antonio Pierce's offensive coordinator. But there's a talk that Chip Kelly could end up with Dan Quinn in Washington, which again would open up the UCLA head coaching job at the college level. There's talk, I know Trayvon Diggs came out. He wanted Al Harris to get I like Al Harris. I just don't know that with Jerry and all these comments about how they're all in for next season, I don't know that they're going to hire a defensive coordinator with no coordinator experience. If you're going all in, don't you feel like you have to hire a coordinator who's been a coordinator before?
Yeah.
So even though I think those guys like Harris a lot, I would guess that you're probably going to get somebody with some experience in that job.
Now, Joe Witt Jr., he was pretty much second in command underneath Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
I think they're saying that he could be possibly in line to get that job.
Yeah, if they do stay in-house, I think it's him. Although there's also talk he might go with Quinn to Washington.
That too.
He could just follow him to Washington and I guess be his defensive coordinator.
Can I just get Mike Vrabel to be my defensive coordinator?
I would take that.
I don't I am very after going through McCarthy and then cycling through all these defensive coordinators and these offensive-minded guys that are terrible coaches and coordinators. I just want a guy that was a really good head coach and had a really good defense as my defensive coordinator. That's all, because the retreads are just they're not treading again. The retreads are not treading right now.
There's a reason they were done treading in the first place. Yeah, I'll be interested to see which way the Cowboys go again. Just because Jerry come out, they're all in for next season. I want to see what that means, and especially having now to hire a defensive coordinator. East Coast Wings and Grill, folks. If you're not going down to the Grizzlies game tonight, not heading to the Tigers game tomorrow, you want to be able to watch all of the action, well, head over to East Coast Wings and Grill. They'll have all the action on for whether it's Grizzlies, whether it's Tigers, whether it's football, all the other college basketball, whatever games are on, they've always got them on at East Coast Wings and Grill. Located just off Highway 64 between Lowe's and Walmart. They got 60 flavors of wings to choose from, 24 draft beers on tap, all kinds of great food, great drink that you'll find. And if you want to get some wings maybe for your big game party at home, you need to get those orders in. They can only do a limited number of those big orders. So you want to make sure you get your order in and you don't get left out. East Coast Wings and Grill. Get just off Highway 64 between Lowe's and Walmart. Kate Hyde Boulevard. Go watch all the action at East Coast Wings and Grill. When we come back, it's the Tiger Basketball Report with Matt Dillon here on Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This holiday season, give the gift of Gould's with a Gould's gift card for someone you love. It's the perfect gift for everyone. The Gould's gift card doesn't just send wishes, it grants them in store and online. Just come to any Gould's and pick up a gift card or go to GouldSalonSpa.com to purchase online. That's GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's. Gould's Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park. We got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes shakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Looking for the most thoughtful, most romantic gift for the one you love this Valentine's? At Genesis Diamonds, celebrating love is what we do. Maybe it's a simple pendant, or maybe it's an exquisite, one-of-a-kind designer ring. Genesis can help you pick out the most memorable and special piece of jewelry for the occasion. And to make it even sweeter, now till Valentine's, whether you spend $199 or $199,000, Genesis will give you some chocolates, fresh flowers, and dinner out at no charge. It's a one-stop ultimate Valentine's experience. When you buy any piece of beautiful jewelry, we'll give you a bouquet of beautiful flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at Restaurant Iris. So join us at Genesis Diamonds. See our spectacular collection of rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, and more. Priced from $199 to $199,000. Let our non-commissioned experts help you find that perfect ring that'll warm their heart and, for years to come, be a symbol of your love. And we'll throw in the chocolates, flowers, and dinner as our treat. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds. On Poplar at Perkins Extended. At quantity, see store for details.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's loading up pretty good over here with some volume now on 40 westbound from Germantown Parkway all the way up to Whitten Road there at Abilene. Traffic still busy up through South Haven, coming up from DeSoto County on 55 northbound. That's been in pretty good shape from Hernando all the way up to South Haven. Still not too bad. I-40 east across the bridge over from West Memphis. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. Yes, I'm talking about Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, 8:28 here in the Family Leisure Studios. We roll along on this Groundhog Day morning, Sports 56 mornings here at Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Again, temperatures today supposed to get up into the upper 60s. That's right, upper 60s today. Although we won't see much sunshine, it will be warmer out there. Going to be a good day tomorrow, decent day tomorrow. On Sunday, got some rain coming in and going to cool it down a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to have a nice day today here in the Mid-South. And again, Puxatawny Phil did not see his shadow today. So apparently we're going to get some early spring. Time now for the Tiger Basketball Report.
It's time to talk Tiger hoops. It's the Tiger Basketball Report with Tigers radio analyst Matt Dillon. The Tiger Basketball Report is brought to you by Central Barbecue, La Guadalupana, Car Corner on Mount Moriah, Dave & Buster's, Coletta's, Ben Schwanger Glass, and Los Cabos on Summer Avenue. Now, here's Matt Dillon with Greg and Eli.
He is Matt Dillon, Tiger radio analyst. And Matt, it is Groundhog Day, and it feels like Groundhog Day now every Friday that we have you on. It's the same thing of what in the hell is wrong with this team?
Well, I guess they saw a few shadows, Eli, I suppose. I don't know, man, along the way here. But, boy, have they switched from, 6 weeks ago until now. It's amazing transformation of this team right now, and UAB was such a surprise to me, to be honest with you. I thought they'd kind of slipped a little bit, but UAB was absolutely amazing what happened down there. 97 points they gave up to that team, which really surprised me, and you could tell then things were kind of definitely out of sync, and then, of course, you go home, you think you're going to beat Rice, who's sitting down there next to last in the standings, and the start was just horrendous. No offensive continuity. They got behind, started pressing a little bit, themselves. And, I thought, gosh, they got 22 points at halftime. I'm going, this is unbelievable because Rice is not a great defensive team. And then he got it going a little bit, but they were 0 for 13 from 3, and they kept missing threes. And I knew as long as they didn't hit any like that, they were going to be in trouble because Rice was a patient team. They did a lot of things that, that they had to do. They had the mindset of, we're coming here to lose. We're going to play and see what happens. And, if we lose, fine. But they stuck with it, and they got down, and that really showed me a lot, though, Eli, when they came back. And that kid hit those 2 threes. That's 2 of the biggest shots I'm sure in his career. And it got it to, 8-0 run right there at the end. And, boy, you could see the Tigers really tighten up when they took the lead again. So just a lot of things going on right now on this team. But, again, this is February, the first week of February. You got to get it corrected. You can. You got to get it done pretty soon because you're running in a stretch now, and you cannot lose another game to a team in the net like this. If you do, it's going to be a real disastrous situation. I mean, you have a couple of games, obviously, with Florida Atlantic, one with SMU, one with North Texas. Those are going to be big games, and I think, Eli, the urgency I'm trying to say to everybody and kind of get in your mind is we're going to go on a road trip, and we're staying out, and we're going to 2 places. That's North Texas and SMU on a road trip. And that could be a very telling situation on what happens down the stretch of this season.
Well, I mean, when we had you on last week, you talked about these next 5 games, and you talked about these next 5, you go undefeated here. They've lost the first 2 of them. I mean, again, at this point, it's so weird. The Rice game, and you mentioned, it even, to me, is more alarming from a Tigers perspective that you came back and took the lead and still lost the game.
You did.
Because
I was...
Yeah. The Villanova game, for instance, you just got off this horrendous start, and you just never could catch up no matter what.
Right.
If you'd have just never caught them, you say, man, that start killed us. We got off this horrendous start, and we just never could catch them. But to catch up with a terrible team on your home floor and take the lead with a few minutes left, and then still let them come back and beat you again, that's really bad.
It is bad, and they had some defensive lapses at the end, Eli, to be honest with you. There was one that, the big guy hadn't scored, I think, all night, and then they go for a steal, overplay, and they bounce the ball, and he goes in and gets a layup, and then the kid that probably the only kid that really would be consistent 3-point shooter on that team, they let him get open twice. You knew they were going to try threes, just didn't properly switch on some situations, and you got to give that young kid credit. Now, he had some tough shots, and they weren't easy, but he got open. His teammates got him open to get a look, and he nailed a couple of them, and you could see him tighten up, like I said a moment ago. They just got tight a little bit, and they rushed down and tried to do a couple of things, and then they had another turnover, and that's one thing that really is interesting. The turnovers were pretty equal, 22-21, but they made them in critical times. It seems like Tigers made a couple right at the end that really made a difference. So it was just one of those things, that if you don't get it together on the court and communicate and pass that basketball and really run your offense, it's going to be very difficult for this team to really turn it around because this is an important stretch right now for this team, Eli. It really is. This is going to be interesting to see how they rebound from this. And, again, point guard play, Quinterly has struggled, a little bit recently. He has, really had a negative ratio handling the basketball. He scored okay, but he's not good and been good from 3. Those things like that. Jones has turned the ball over at crucial times, had a couple at the end of that game. So all these things are like an ingredient. They've gone in there to make this thing where right now you're beginning to doubt yourself a little bit. And you look over at the bench sometimes, I don't know, it just seems like, in a perception, I guess for me, that, they won those tough games in a great fashion, earlier in the year, and now you get into the league, you think, well, we're in the league now, and we can really go until, the end of the year, basically, with Florida Atlantic. And that didn't happen. And as we talked about and discussed on this show, they're the hunted now. And this is the reason why we talked about that, because these other teams, boy, they got them circled. Hey, they're on the schedule here. Hey, this team, look what they did. We got a chance to knock them off. And you got to be ready for that every time out. And some of these guys, I don't know if they're mentally in tune with it enough right now to do it. Coaching, you can say it's coaching, but you can tell players sometimes you want them to do things and they don't do it, and that's part of it too. You got to communicate on both sides and be together. I think they can do it if they just put their minds to it and determine who's the leader on this team. That's another thing, Eli. Who's the leader? Who's the guy that's going to really lead this team? Quinterly should be able to do it. He's got the experience. He's a point guard that has been around and played a lot of games during his career. And, his slump is really hurt. And I said it to you a couple times on the show. As he goes kind of how this team's going to go is his play at point guard. Because when he's good, he really makes this team very good. And I think that's something, for himself, and every player has to ask themselves, dig down, am I doing everything to help this team? Because it's a team game. You have to have cohesion. You really do. And they did it early in the year. We've had some things happen, from injuries. I think Mills, you have to throw that in the mix as well. It's been a very difficult thing to go through. And I really think you're seeing now his absence in crucial situations, I think, has really been another thing that's kind of hurt this team as well.
You talk about Quinterly, and I'm still very perplexed about the whole thing with the starting lineup in this Rice game. I guess if you're trying to send Quinterly like a message, I'm not sure that sitting him for the first 3 minutes of the game and then putting him in and he plays more minutes than anybody in the game. I'm not sure if the message is received. And if you are trying to send a message, you're not going to start Javon Quinterly. Jonathan Pierre's the guy? Like you're basically going without a point guard to start the game? Like I just, that one, do you have an explanation?
No, I really don't. I was surprised, to be honest with you. I mean, when I looked up and saw he was starting, and I'm going, who's going to be the point guard on this, starting lineup? And it was really unusual to me, and you put another guy over there, and you've got another backup point guard. I mean, they can play and young, but he wasn't in there. And I thought, well, you got to move Walton over or play Pierre and over there. I'm going like, this is really a strange lineup. You put two big guys in there and then Jones. So it's just it was a surprise. And I guess, sometimes you got to try maybe as a coach, you go, I'm going to shake this thing up. I'm really going to try something drastic to see what kind of reaction it will get. And obviously they got behind early. You could tell the offense had no cohesion whatsoever. I mean, the cohesion was gone early, and they got down, and that made it kind of set the pace of it a little bit in that first half. I'm telling you, Eli, I don't know if they're going to score 50 points the way they were going. I mean, it was just no fire there, and I don't know if it was a message to Quinterly or the team itself or whatever. But sometimes as a coach, you do things like that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It was an unusual thing for Pierre to be there because he hadn't played very much really all season. You stick him in the lineup there, and then he obviously didn't stay in very long at all. But still, the damage had been done early, kind of setting the tone of that thing.
Now, a lot of people have pointed out, and it is a factual thing, that really the struggle started soon as Naquan Tomlin because the Vanderbilt was his first game, and that was like, you could look at it, right? Like that's when they started. They had all these close games, like that game itself, comes down to a shot by Vanderbilt to win the game.
Right.
They've struggled basically at every game other than Wichita State since then. Do you think it is just a coincidence of that timing, or bringing a guy in the middle of the season, do you think it had an effect on chemistry and stuff?
Yeah, I think it does a little bit, and I think it's hard on him too, on both sides, because he's coming from another system. He's got to get in here and learn everything, and I think he pressed early. I think he really wanted to impress everybody because he's coming to a new situation. He's probably played around some pretty good players at Kansas State. Tang has a pretty good program right now, and had been pretty good, obviously, in tournament play recently. I do think it disrupted a little bit, and then you had Brown's situation status, I think always in the back of your mind was, he going to come back or not? And then you got three big guys that are in there, and Danner just starting to play well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean, he's given. Tomlin really hasn't been a very muscular build guy to get in there and mix it up. He's more of a perimeter player in a lot of ways. And he can shoot the ball in the perimeter, no question about it. But Malcolm gets in there and does the dirty work inside, and who do you play there? You go with a dirty work guy, or you put a guy who runs down the perimeter like Rice's guy. Of course, he's a passer, obviously, but you go that way. And do you move Brown back in after he had been gone for such a long time? Is he in shape enough to play, or has he remembered the offense? Has he learned it again? There's a lot of things in the ingredient on that front line that really changed, I think, during that time. And they kind of had settled into a rotation a little bit, and now you kind of change it up. So now you got three guys in there, and they're going to be, vying for minutes with each other. But Dandridge, I tell you right now, he's got a hold on it starting position unless something crazy comes. He's playing pretty good basketball. He really is. And he looks like he really is in shape, maybe for the first time, totally healthy. And he's got the attitude of he's going in there, and he's been physical, which was really happy to see for a lot of people because they wanted him to do well being from Memphis.
Just hopefully doesn't try any more reverse dunks on
breakaway.
That
was not that reaction was hardly turned around and looked at us. He was just stunned as we were, honestly. I can't imagine what some previous coaches would have said here if he'd have done that. I won't mention any names, but everybody, even the crowd, was stunned.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
it was
crazy.
A stunning situation, Eli. It really was, and I don't think you'll see that happen. Hopefully, it kind of reminded me when Shaq Gooden was down at Tulane. He did a thing very similar to that at the end of the game down there. But the reaction of Coach Hardaway was priceless. He looked at us. He's going shaking his head, looking at us. Can you believe this? We're going, not really. We're shaking our head, looking at each other. But it was, I guess you get caught up in it and try to, just you got the thing going. But again, you just think about big plays. I mean, if you go in and a game's on the line like that, and you do that, miss and cost a game. If that had been a situation where that would have happened, that's really, really tough. So you got to play.
I mean, it cost you a point. I mean, in the end, you only got 1 point out of the possession rather than two. All right, so Wichita State comes in. Now, this is the one I said earlier. Wichita State's got to be like, what the hell are we doing? Like, why we got killed by Memphis? Like, they're the only team in the conference that Memphis has been able to kill. They're got to be questioning themselves. Like, we got blown out by this team on our home floor.
That's right.
Everybody
else
is
worries me.
Beating them and everything else. So, what? That game, the Tigers went 19 of 30 from 3-point range.
Oh, they were just blitzing.
Probably not repeatable. So, what do they have to do against Wichita State?
Well, they got to come in and play within themselves and don't try to. Hey, we're going to shoot 43s against this team again. I mean, they were on that night. Let's be honest about it. That was just one of those special nights that you have during the broadcast. I kept saying, save some of these threes for later on. You're like a baseball team, gets 40 hits in a game or something. But they didn't. Wichita State, I mean, how do you look at it as a team? That's what worries me. Are you going to be ready to play? Hey, I know you've lost 4 in a row and everything else, but we beat these guys 112-86. Human nature takes over at times because they blitzed them. I mean, Paul Mills, and look, I'm sure he's a good basketball coach. He tried to run with the Tigers, and that was a mistake because they really wore and grinded them down after the first half. You could tell they were gassed almost at halftime when they came out, and boy, they blitzed them quick, and it was over with. But now, they have lost again. They get a nice win at home over SMU, and then they lose at Tulsa. So, again, this is a game that you should be able to win. I think you got to play within yourself, and you got to get that one position. I think down, and is it Quinterly going to be the guy? Starting from the first, maybe is Jalen Young. You got to go to him and say, "Hey, man, you're a backup point guard. There's going to be some responsibility on you as well." You got to get everybody in tune. But if they don't, this game could be a struggle. It shouldn't be. Look at the net. if net maybe is something you can't go by anymore after what I've seen the last about 3 or 4 games. But they got a real high net, and I mean it's sitting there 159. It got down to 148. I think it's like 159 or 160 today, somewhere in there. So they got to come in and run their offense and not take maybe the first shot. Play sound defense, communicate, switch properly. You're going to see a lot of man-to-man defense. Probably they don't play much zone. They did a little bit up there. They're not really a zone team normally, so you should be able to run your offense, get some continuity. The front line should be able to take care of business as well against this team. And for goodness sakes, do not turn the ball over 21 or 22 times at home. Now, that's some of the keys to this thing, but it all gets back to being mentally ready to play. And we'll see not very long away. It's noon, so it's fast approaching tomorrow.
Well, hopefully you'll get have a win to talk about, and this losing streak will come to an end. But we shall see. At this point, again, nothing will surprise us. That is for sure. He is Matt Dillon, Tigers basketball analyst. He joins us each and every Friday for the Tiger Basketball Report, brought to you by Los Cabos, Ben Swinger Glass, Dave & Buster's, Central Barbecue, Coletta's, La Guadalupana, and Car Corner on Mount Moriah. Matt, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Eli, and have a great weekend.
You too. Matt Dillon joining us for the Tiger Basketball Report. By the way, I mentioned Central Barbecue, one of the sponsors. For the big game, they've got a great special for you from their Summer Avenue and downtown locations. Buy 3 full slabs of ribs and get a full slab for free. This is good for the big game Sunday only. No limits while supplies last. Call the location that you want. You'll pick them up. Place your order ahead of time to pick up that day for the big game. Again, buy 3 slabs. Get 1 free from Central Barbecue. And don't forget, folks, the original Memphis beer is back. Goldcrest 51 is making its return, and Monday it'll be hitting the stores and the bars around town. So wherever you get your beer, ask for Goldcrest 51. The original Memphis beer is back starting Monday right here in Memphis. Back to wrap up hour number 2. Did you watch the Pro Bowl games last night? I did. It was fun. I still maintain more entertaining than the actual Pro Bowl used to be. I will die on that hill. More to come here. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
When the weather gets better, I found a new place to really soak it in. It's the patio at the Commissary in Collierville. We all love the delicious Memphis-style barbecues. You can begin your barbecue fest with some great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos. Oh, those smoked chicken wings, they're terrific too. Then dig into the ribs or the barbecue shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich. A big sandwich, or you can get it on a plate. You've got choice, and you've got choice in places. Don't forget the Germantown Commissary as well. Comes with beans and slaw, deviled eggs they're famous for. And Brad, you can even order by the pound, a 6-pack or an 8-pack or even a 12-pack. The Boss Man salad, the chicken plate, the barbecue shrimp. There's something for everybody, and those great desserts. The best icebox lemon pie anywhere. Or my favorite, the banana pudding. Check out the patio, TVs for sports, and music on the weekends. You love the Commissary.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the all-new TaylorMade QI10 Max Driver, combining TaylorMade distance with the forgiveness of 10K inertia. Experience your drives in 10K. Visit us in-store for a free custom fitting at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops, or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back. Final segment here in hour number 2. Eli and Zach with you. No Greg today. We're live in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. That is Family Leisure. We were talking about the Grizzlies and trade possibilities, and I've mentioned, as far as like guys that teams might actually call because they want. And got a tweet from Fletch. He says, "Don't forget about Tillman. There are teams that would want him for the playoffs." And certainly, he's a very cheap, expiring contract who has shown the ability. He did some good things. He points out what he guarding LeBron and doing some things last year. I guess the question with Tillman is that where he is health wise, because he keeps having to sit out these games. Last night he was a last-minute scratch. Where he is health-wise. The other thing about Xavier Tillman now, with the trade of Steven Adams, is what are the Grizzlies doing at the center position next year? Like, do they want to possibly bring back Xavier Tillman as a cheap guy as a backup? Because he's not going to cost you a whole much money to re-sign. This is not a good, a great draft by any means, but there are some bigs in this draft. So are you going to plan on drafting another big? Because if you've got Jaren, you got Brandon Clark, and you got Santi, they're still going to want there's going to be another big somewhere that they've got to get. Is it someone you want to try and sign? Is it somebody you want to try and trade for? Is it somebody you want to draft? I don't know. So I don't know what their thinking is now at the center position, knowing now that you will not have Steven Adams for next season.
Right now, the free agent class at the center position, you have Jonas, who's going to probably cost too much. Nicholas Claxton, which has been a big name.
He'll cost too much.
He'll probably cost too much. Isaiah Hardenstein, he got $8 million a season, which is a bargain.
But he'll probably get, he'll probably get like 10 to 12.
Yeah, if the Knicks won't pay that much for him.
No, I'm saying to get it, you'd he's not cheaper than Adams would have been.
Right.
That's the thing. That's why I think you'd have to be. It's probably gonna have to be like a guy like Xavier Tillman.
Andre Drummond is a name that a lot of people like here.
I think he fits what they need. Again, he would be. I don't know. Is he a veteran's minimum right now?
No.
What's he making?
Was it $3.3 million? So is that the vet?
That probably is for him. As long as he's been around, it probably is his minimum.
Okay, yeah. So he's 30, so he kind of fits still.
If you could get somebody like him for like a veteran's minimum, I would take him.
And other than that, it's a bunch of role player, fringe, bench guys that that you're not starting with. Those are the
unrestricted.
Unrestricted. The restricted names are probably just even worse.
They're not. There's no way. There's no way, because again, they're not. They can't spend a bunch of money. That's why they got rid of Adams on it. Unless they made some other moves and cleared up a bunch of room, that now they could go back and go, okay, we want to spend a little bit of money on a center. But that would getting rid of Kennard and Conchar and probably others.
And that's why I was like explaining to one of my friends yesterday because you know they were saying like, yeah, we're going to free agency and get a center. It's like, more than likely you're either going to draft them or you're going to trade for one.
By the way, if you are looking for something to do this weekend, the Hustle hosts the G League Ignite Saturday night and Sunday afternoon. The Ignite have on this year's team, now they're terrible. They've only got one win. But they do have 4 guys. If you look at mock drafts, they've got 4 guys that you can find in first rounds. They're not all consensus first rounds. Ron Holland is a first round guy. Like, he's the stud. He is their big time stud. He's projected by some to be like, you know, top 3 pick. Some have him top 5. Some have him top 10. Others have him in the teens. He's a little bit, all these guys are kind of a little bit older, but he is one that certainly will be a first round pick. Matas Buzelis, another guy, some have him top 10. A lot have him lottery. Others have him in late teens. Then you've got Tyler Smith. Some have him first round. Others have him early second round. And Izan Almanza is another one, late first, second round guy, depending on what mock draft you might look at. But they've got 4 guys, even though they're 1 in 15. They've got 4 guys. And again, I'm really interested to see Ron Holland. Like, it's not like last year when they had Scoot Henderson coming in. You're like, dude, this guy's going to be the number 2 overall pick in all likelihood. You know, he's going to be top 3. But Ron Holland's supposed to be really good. And he's averaging like 20 a game for them. And the Buzelis kid, there's a lot of people that really like his potential. They also have another kid, Dink Pate, who is a 17-year-old. So he's not going to be eligible for this year's draft. He's going to do 2 years with the Ignite like Scoot Henderson did. He's not even playing a whole lot. He's expected to be their stud next year. He's like a 6'7" point guard, who actually his favorite player, the guy he models his game after, he says is Penny Hardaway. But he's like a 6'7" point guard from Texas. He's not even playing a ton for them. He's supposed to be their stud guy next year. He's doing the Scoot Henderson 2-year deal with the Ignite to get ready for the draft. But they'll be down at the Landers Center tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, and then Sunday afternoon, it's a 3 o'clock game for the Hustle and the Ignite. And if you come tomorrow night, you can bring your dog.
Hey, there you go.
It's Hustle and Hounds night tomorrow night for the Hustle. So always love when the people bring the dogs to the games.
A lot of woofing and barking.
That's right. It's always a lot of fun down there for that one. Hour number 3 coming up. We'll kick it off with Brandon Lang, talking recapping the AFC NFC Championship games and starting to look ahead, getting his early thoughts on the Super Bowl, including maybe some of the prop bets he might be looking at. We've got Sean Merriman coming up in hour number 3. We'll talk about his lights out fighting, but also talk NFL with him. What's his thoughts as a Chargers guy about Jim Harbaugh getting that coaching job there, and more with Sean Merriman coming up. Hour number 3 coming your way. This hour of the program has been brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Hour 3 comes your way next. Sports 56 Mornings here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Looking for the most thoughtful, most romantic gift for the one you love this Valentine's? At Genesis Diamonds, celebrating love is what we do. Maybe it's a simple pendant, or maybe it's an exquisite, one-of-a-kind designer ring. Genesis can help you pick out the most memorable and special piece of jewelry for the occasion. And to make it even sweeter, now till Valentine's, whether you spend $199 or $199,000, Genesis will give you some chocolates, fresh flowers, and dinner out at no charge. It's a one-stop ultimate Valentine's experience. When you buy any piece of beautiful jewelry. We'll give you a bouquet of beautiful flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at Restaurant Iris. So join us at Genesis Diamonds. See our spectacular collection of rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, and more. Priced from $199 to $199,000. Let our non-commissioned experts help you find that perfect ring that'll warm their heart and, for years to come, be a symbol of your love. And we'll throw in the chocolates, flowers, and dinner as our treat. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds. On Poplar at Perkins Extended. At quantity, see store for details.
They say you can't pick the best barbecue in Memphis.
Who is they?
The people that say things.
Like what?
Well, that you can't pick the best barbecue in Memphis.
Well, that's ridiculous. It's Central Barbecue.
Well, I'm telling you, these people said that you can't even say Central Barbecue is the best barbecue in Memphis.
But it is. There's no better slow smoke, perfectly cooked barbecue in Memphis or anywhere else.
Look, I'm just saying that they say.
What else did they say?
Well, that the earth is flat.
You have got to get off of social media.
That's what they say as well.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Sports 56 traffic brought to you by Curfew.
Enjoy the ultimate dining experience at Curfew with specials every night. Mississippi Monday, Tuesday Ladies Night, Wing Wednesday, and Thursday Hotel Guest Appreciation Day. Curfew American Tavern Craft Cocktails, your new destination. 164 Union Avenue, main floor of the Canopy Hotel.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still quite a bit of traffic volume on 240 here as you come past Mill Branch. 40 West still starting to stack up at times over here with some volume as you come past Sycamore View Road, getting on that flyover there to 240. Some of that traffic is getting off onto Sam Cooper. Still looks good up through South Haven on 55 going northbound as all that traffic continues to come up from DeSoto County. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. Check them out today at tomahawkcrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Oh, yeah. Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
9:02 the time here in our Family Leisure Studios. Sports 56 Mornings on this Groundhog Day, Friday, February 2nd, 2024. Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd here with you. No Greg Gaston today. He'll be back on Monday. Currently 48 degrees as that temperature is starting to rise now to get on our way up into the mid-upper 60s for our high today. Tomorrow, once again, some pretty comfortable temperatures in the mid-60s with maybe a little bit of sun, also a slight chance of some rain tomorrow. Sunday, the rain is expected to be here, and temperatures will cool down once again down into the low 50s. We are here in the Family Leisure Studios. That's where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. They got their floor model sale going on right now, whether it be patio sets, well, they're priced to move, pool tables, theater seating, 4-person hot tubs, all kinds of great stuff you can see right there in the store. They got to move it out to make room for new inventory over at Family Leisure. Coming up this hour, Brandon Lang going to be joining us here in just a little bit. Talk a little Super Bowl, of course, with him. Talk about the AFC, NFC championship games. He was right on both of them. I dared to disagree on both accounts, and I was wrong on both. He was right on both last week on both the AFC and NFC championship games. Later in the hour, Sean Merriman from Lights Out Fighting will join us. We'll talk a lot of NFL with him as well, including about Jim Harbaugh, who is the new coach of the Chargers, of course, that's where Sean Merriman played most of his career and was an outstanding linebacker for the Chargers in his day. Again, the Grizzlies lose last night to Cleveland. They'll be back in action tonight against Golden State down at FedEx Forum, another 7 o'clock tip. It was The Grizzlies making new off the court yesterday as well as they trade Steven Adams to the Houston Rockets for Victor Oladipo, who will not play here, and 3 second-round draft picks. All-star reserves were picked last night in the NBA as well. And, of course, the Tigers are in action tomorrow, noon game as they host Wichita State down at FedEx Forum. So that FedEx Forum crew got a quick turnaround from the Grizzlies tonight to the Tigers at noon tomorrow. They got to get that place ready for that game. Folks, the original Memphis beer is back. Goldcrest 51 will make its return on Monday. It'll be hitting stores and bars wherever you get your beer. Ask for Goldcrest 51, the original Memphis beer, being brewed once again by Soul and Spirits here in Memphis. And it'll be hitting the stores on Monday, February the 5th. So be ready for that. All right, we're going to talk with Brandon Lang coming up here in just a moment as, again, I dared to disagree with Mr. Lang last week on both the AFC and NFC championship game, and, well, that's why he's the professional and I am not. Let's talk with Brandon.
It's time to handicap this week's action. Joining Greg and Eli is sports handicapper Brandon Lang, subject of the movie Two for the Money.
It's P equals P. You walk into a strip bar and you let her take your hand and drag you into that champagne room. Pressure equals problems. You just can't do it. And I'm telling you, pressure equals problems in the NFL.
Get Brandon's plays at BrandonLang.com.
There's 4 things you can't handicap in sports. There's 4 things. Penalties, turnovers, player stupidity, and coaching stupidity. What are they smoking?
Also, listen to Brandon with Clay Harbor and Cam Rogers on the Believe Podcast Network.
You're on a dating app, and they don't show a body picture. Run! Run!
Now, here's Brandon with Greg and Eli.
He is Brandon Lang from BrandonLang.com and the Believe Podcast Network as well, and coming soon to a television near you on Pluto TV. Brandon, what's up?
So, I'm at Green Valley Station with my boy Dan the Man. It's where I watched the Buffalo Bills blow a lead against the Chiefs with 13 seconds to go. I don't know why I thought I could watch this game at the casino. At Detroit, massive, had a little small Detroit money line, website play, Detroit, sitting there watching the game. Let's go to the call. 4th and 2, 7 minutes to go. Detroit up 24-10. I'm sitting there with my boy Dan the Man. I'm like, kick the field goal, go up 3 scores. They have not scored but 10 points against Detroit's defense with 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. They kicked the field goal here. This conversation I'm having as they're deciding what they're going to do. I go, you're asking Brock Purdy to go on 3 straight touchdown drives in the last 22 minutes to beat you. And I go, and that's saying Detroit's not going to do anything offensively. Kick field goal. And he keeps his offense out on the field. And I look at my boy Dan the Man. I go, this is a trap. This is the game. He doesn't get this here. They're going to lose this game outright. And we're going to need a backdoor touchdown to cover the number. He looks at me and says, are you crazy? Okay, fine. Just watch what happens. They go for it. They don't get it. I'm like, okay, now watch what happens. Now, when the ball deflected off the helmet, I looked at him and said, see, the gambling gods are a finicky bunch, my friend. I said, you don't do the right thing. I said, the football gods and the gambling gods in a playoff game to go to the Super Bowl are going to torture you. Just do the right thing at the right time, and the situation will be perfectly clear. You kick the field goal. You go up 17. You walk over to the bench. Everybody fist knocks. You match their field goal. The momentum of your team is great. Your defense goes back out there feeling good about themselves. Your offense sits down and says, okay, good drive there. Let's get ready to do it again. But that first domino, when you went for it and you didn't get it, the gambling god said, okay, guess what? You're not going to the Super Bowl. So what happened? Deflected off the safety's helmet, touchdown. Next first play, fumble, touchdown, 24-24. Just like that. And what happened? I got up from the casino. I drove home because I knew there's only one way I'm winning this football game, and that was when I was going to need a back door. I called my girl in New York, which is where I'm at right now, and she's a play and a half ahead of me. She's 27 seconds ahead of me, and I said, all right, babe, Detroit's got the ball. I need a backdoor touchdown. Here we go, and here's how she describes the play. She really doesn't. She understands point spread, but she doesn't understand football. So the first play, she's like going, okay, that that was a good play. I'm like, babe, how many yards? She goes, they gained a few yards on that. I'm like, babe, where are they? She goes, they moved the ball a little upfield. Okay, great. The next play, she's like, going, oh, that was no good. I'm like, what happened? She goes, well, I don't know where he was throwing that one. I'm like, babe, what happened? She's like, oh, okay, it's the next play. She goes, oh my God, he's running. He's running. I go, babe, where's he? She goes, he's down. He's past them. I go, is he past the logo at midfield? She goes, oh yeah. I'm like, what yard line? She goes, I think he's at the 30, and that was Jamali Williams' big play. I'm like, okay, good. And again, she's a play and a half ahead of me. She says, I'm watching. I now see the play that she's describing. So the next play, she goes, Jesus, where was he throwing that? Interception? She goes, no, I just don't know what he was thinking there. I'm like, okay, so that means it's second down. She's like, yeah. And she goes, oh my God, they're down to the 10-yard line. I'm like, okay, good. How much time? She goes, and she said the time. And then here she goes, babe, what's happening? She's like, they're down like at the 1-yard line. I'm like, okay, that's great. Oh my God, we're going to score. We're going to get the back door. And then first down, she's like, oh my God, what is he doing? I'm like, what happened? She goes, he just threw it to nobody. I'm like, babe, but what, not an interception? She goes, no, it's second down. So she goes, oh my God, where's he throwing that one? I'm like, babe, did he throw an interception? She's like, no, he threw that one away. I'm like, oh my God. Then on third down, they ran it. She goes, oh my God, they ran it. I go, did they get in? She goes, there was nobody there. They lost a couple yards, but now they're taking a timeout. I'm like, oh my God. And the whole cover comes down to a fourth down play. I go, he should kick the field goal because he's down 2 scores, but he's a moron and an idiot. He's not going to do it. He's going to go for the touchdown. This makes no sense whatsoever. Snap of the ball. She's ahead of me. She goes, touchdown. Wait. I'm like, wait, what? She goes, they're talking about it. I'm like, babe, there's 20 officials who have black and white on, and they put their hands over their head for a touchdown. You don't see that? She goes, they're not showing that. They're looking at each other talking. I'm like, babe, is it a touchdown? She goes, I don't know. Now, remember, everything's on this. And finally she goes, touchdown! I'm like, oh, my God. I've won 4 games with her on the phone doing exactly what I did because she's ahead of me, and I'm as superstitious as it gets. And I drove home. I sped home to get her on the phone to pull it in. I need a play chart of how she calls it to let people know what she means. Oh, my God, what's he thinking? Incomplete pass. Oh, my God, where's he doing that? Incomplete pass. Oh, that was good. Okay, good. Yeah, it's hilarious. So, got the win, but again, it's a crying shame that Detroit didn't win that game outright. Listen, it was a crying shame the week before that Green Bay didn't win the game outright. And so that leads me to the AFC Championship game recap. Flowers doesn't fumble to cut it to 17-14. Baltimore wins that game.
I 100% agree with you.
Grave.
And it makes me mad as heck because I bet on Baltimore. And when he got the penalty first, I was already cursing him for like, what are you doing? Yep. And then the fumble, I'm like, oh, I 100% believe Baltimore. They did a lot of dumb stuff. But still, if they get that ball in the end zone, I believe they win the game.
Here's the thing. He didn't have to reach the ball across. His momentum was such that if he just tucked it and just drove to the end zone, it's the same thing as Dallas when they played at Miami.
Yes, the Tony Pollard.
In the first possession game, Pollard, if he would have just put his head down and drove, he scores. Instead, he's a pussy, and he gets a yard short and goes down, and then the next play is a fumble. I don't like Pollard, by the way. He runs out of bounds when he can put his head down and get 3 more yards, and it sets up 3rd and 1 instead of a first down. He avoids contact. At all costs, he avoids contact and runs. Like, there's times he goes right, and he can put his head down and get the first down on 2nd and 8, and he gets the first down. He runs out of bounds, setting up 3rd and 2, and then Dak does something stupid and they punt. It happens all the time. So it's a shame.
That's a Memphis guy. He's a Memphis kid. Take it easy on him.
Well, sorry. I just, me, I tell it like it is. So with that being said, Super Bowl comes down to one thing and one thing only. Patrick Mahomes was 8-3 straight up, 10-1 against the spread as an underdog when he went into Buffalo, the 2 seed, as a dog. Well, make it 9-3 and 11-1 against the spread. Then he rolls into Baltimore, catching points again, and you know what he is. And he's now 10-3 straight up and 12-1 against the spread as an underdog. And here he is again, now catching 2 against a Niner team that should have lost to Green Bay, should have lost to Detroit. And do you know why you get blowouts in the Super Bowl?
Why?
Because teams that shouldn't be there get there. The Niners shouldn't be there. They don't deserve to be there. They were on the ropes twice, and teams couldn't close because I'm not going to say anything bad about Matt LaFleur. He put together a brilliant game plan, and their kicker can't make a field goal. Dan Campbell has to own up that he and he alone cost his team the Super Bowl. And I know he's got to say all the right things in the press that he says in the press. I understand that. You know, I stand by my decision. That's the way we are, and I just felt we need to say, When he walked into his house Sunday night back in Detroit, and his wife is sitting there waiting for him in the kitchen, he goes down on one knee. He puts his head in her lap. And in places you don't talk about at parties, Dan Campbell says to his wife, and she's the only one he's ever going to say it to, babe, I should have kicked the field goal. It's the truth. There's no way. Somebody should have been in his ear, where it was Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, or somebody, and said this, Dan, I know you want to go for it here. Dan, there's 7 minutes to go in the third quarter, and our defense has held them to 10 points. Kick the field goal, Dan. Go up 17. There's no way Brock Purdy's going to take them the length of the field 3 times in the next 22 minutes to beat us. And that's saying our offense isn't going to score a point, Dan. Just kick the field goal. Our offense is going to get us another 7, and we're going to the Super Bowl. Dan! We're going to the Super Bowl, baby! Dan! We're going, baby! We're going, Dan! Kick the field goal! Dan goes, no, because I'm Dan Campbell. And I go for it because we're going to take out kneecaps and blah.
So you go on the idea that you believe the 49ers don't deserve to be there. You don't look at it as the 49ers could have found ways to win 2 games they shouldn't have, and therefore kind of almost like the team of destiny here going into the Super Bowl.
Let me ask you a question. Who do you trust? Do you trust a defensive coordinator that with 2 weeks to prepare for the greatest team in NFL history, the greatest? They would piss all over the 72 Dolphins. They were the greatest team in NFL history. They were a 23-point home favorite over Philadelphia. They went into Buffalo laying 11.5 and beat them 55-10. They covered their first 12 games of the year that year, destroying lives. And with 2 weeks to prepare, Steve Spagnuolo took down the 18-0 Patriots. Andy Reid is facing a defense that is a sieve. A sieve. You think whatever problems the Niners defense has with the same personnel that you saw on the field against Green Bay and Detroit is going to fix their problems against the Chiefs, who 2 years ago waltzed into San Francisco against the number 1 defense in the NFL and put up a 44 spot and destroyed them? You can't play man-to-man, and you can't play zone, and they can't stop the run. Pacheco's going to have a massive... They can't stop the run. They can't. They're not going to fix those problems in 2 weeks. You going to go against Mahomes as an underdog? Yes or no at this point?
It's hard to go against him.
You can't. You just can't.
So are you surprised by the line?
Yes. Yes.
Why do you think the line is what it is?
Because Vegas has an infatuation thinking the Niners are better than they are. And that's the truth. They were laying 10.5 to Green Bay, should have lost outright. They were laying 7.5 against Detroit, should have lost outright. We have to make them the favorite. We have to. If Brock Purdy plays a perfect game in the Super Bowl to beat Patrick Mahomes and Steve Spagnuolo, I'll tip my cap and go on my way. But for my dollar, I'm sorry, bro. I just don't see it happening.
Do you think the line stay? Do you think it'll stay as San Francisco the favorite all the way up to kickoff?
It went back up to 2.
Oh, did it?
Mm-hmm. FanDuel's got it at 2.5 right now.
Wow.
So, yeah. No, I just think people think that Casey's offense is going to struggle in the second half, and Casey's offense is going to struggle in the Niners. That was the number 1 defense in the NFL on the road. They figured out a way to win. They went on the road and beat Buffalo, 2 seed. Went on the road and beat Ravens, 1 seed. And now they're getting the Niners on a neutral field in Vegas, a field they played on, and they're comfortable on. Easiest Super Bowl pick I've had to make in 30 years. I've done this for a living. Done.
Boy, if they don't cover, you are Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are really going to be on your list.
I'll be in jail. I'll be in jail. I'm telling you right now, I'll be in jail because it's in Vegas. I'll know where the team hotel is. Our top story: the TV sports handicapper Brandon Lang lost the Super Bowl with the Chiefs, and he's now being held without bail at the Las Vegas County Jail for an assault on Andy Reid. And Lang had camped out at the Kansas City hotel after the Chiefs lost to the Niners, jumped Andy Reid, and is being arrested for assault and battery. Lang, when being led away by police, said, and I quote, "He deserved to die." Lang, of course, will be arraigned on Monday at 12 o'clock. ESPN is invited to hear Lang's comments.
What's your record on their Super Bowls?
1-2. Hit the Niners. Was stupid to go against Tom Brady, and was stupid to think Philadelphia was going to beat them. So I should be 3-0. It's my fault. Nobody else. So, anyway.
Well, next week we will get deeper into the game. We'll talk about some of the props as well. Have you been, since you did well last weekend on those games, are you still hot in college basketball?
Yes. Well, I've heated back up now. We're getting it done. I went through a bad spell there, but I've turned it around. Nebraska last night came back and got it done. So,
ooh, that didn't look good. That didn't look good for a while.
No, 120-0, leading by 15 or more at half with Wisconsin. So, nice for Nebraska to come back and beat them again.
Wow.
But, that's it. College basketball tomorrow, real quick. South Carolina will beat Georgia and cover. I'm calling for St. John's to upset UConn at Madison Square Garden, 12 o'clock Eastern.
Oh, St. John's over UConn. I like South Carolina. Looks really, really good right now. I do like that.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, have a good weekend in New York. We'll talk to you next week. You'll be out in Vegas on Radio Row, won't you?
Yeah, I'm with my girl now this week, and I'll be in Vegas next week.
Sounds good, man. See you, buddy.
All right, bud. Got it.
Brandon Lang, BrandonLang.com. Check him out there. Check out the podcast as well. So South Carolina, St. John's over UConn tomorrow. If that happens, that's an interesting pick right there from Brandon Lang. I do agree. I maintain. I am absolutely with him. If Zay Flowers doesn't fumble, they score a touchdown, Baltimore wins the game. I'm surprised he's that much on the Chiefs, though. I'm surprised he's that big. But I do understand the idea that, yes, the 49ers should not have won really either one of these games, and now they're going against Patrick Mahomes. You don't get to fall behind against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in all likelihood and come back. It's one thing against Jordan Love. It's another thing, Jared Goff. It's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Get down to them. It's going to make it really, really hard on you to come back in all likelihood. Guns, more guns. That's where you're going to find at Classic Arms of Memphis. Over 700 firearms. That's right, 700. Whether it be home defense gun, hunting guns, whether you're looking for a big gun, a little gun, new gun, used gun, whether you're looking for whatever, they've got it. Of course, they've got ammo and all the accessories, all that as well, all at Classic Arms. They've got all the best names that you can imagine. They have the guaranteed lowest price in town. They are the only gun importer here in the Mid-South. They offer free gun inspections, free gun appraisals. They buy, they sell, they trade, new, used, all of that. Classic Arms. You could shop online 24/7 at classicarmsofmemphis.com, or you could go see UTJ and the gang at Classic Arms. 1740 Germantown Parkway. That's in the shopping center right behind Corky's Barbecue there in Cordova, just off Germantown Parkway. They are Classic Arms of Memphis. Sean Merriman joins us coming up next as we continue here in hour number 3 from the Family Leisure Studios here on Sports 56 Mornings, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey fellas, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want to ask you a question. As you think about a Valentine gift for your lady, I want you to think about how big her smile will be, how long that smile will last. A nice box of chocolates might last 3 days, and then it's gone. A romantic dinner for 2, just the 2 of you, might last 3 hours at the most, and then it's over. Even a beautiful arrangement of flowers is only going to last at the most a week or so. So what can you do to make that smile and that joy last? The answer is simple. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and we can show you gifts that she will cherish and enjoy for years. For over 38 years, we've been wrapping red Valentine packages, making thousands of Memphis men heroes. Whether you spend a lot or maybe not so much, you can't go wrong with a stunning piece of jewelry from Russell Brothers Jewelers. Beauty, quality, value, and service. That's what we've provided for our customers for over 5 decades. Let us help you make your Valentine happy. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
At Edwin Watts Golf Shops, there's something that binds us all. The collective goal to transcend the ordinary. Introducing the all-new TaylorMade QI10 Max Driver, combining TaylorMade distance with the forgiveness of 10K inertia. Experience your drives in 10K. Visit us in-store for a free custom fitting at your local Edwin Watts Golf Shops, or shop us online at worldwidegolf.com. Get there.
They're taking care of beerness in Memphis, right on the river, with Grind City Brewing and all of their great products. Look, this was a dream come true for a father and son duo. And if you have not been to that brewery right on the river, just to the north of downtown, you're really missing something special. And now you can't miss their products. Wherever you go, you see a brand new label. It's clean, it's beautiful, it's distinctive. You'll know Grind City Brewing, and of course you know their products like Poppy's Pills, that great Pilsner, or Tiger Tail, that very creative craft malt liquor. There's the new Thaddeus Amber Lager. That is absolutely a great light beer. There's the India Pale called Godhopper. It's outstanding. And then there's the Belga, the Belgian-style wheat ale. They keep bringing hits at Grind City Brewing.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals, and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning. On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, 926 here in the Family Leisure Studios. Eli and Zach with you. No Greg today. Brandon mentioned that game last night. Another top 10 team goes on the road and loses to an unranked team. As number 6, Wisconsin blows a big halftime lead, led by 16 at the half, and they lose at Nebraska. Nebraska's having quite a year. In the American last night, SMU beat Tulane 80-76, as SMU continues to have a nice year as well. They get the win over Tulane last night. 80-76 was the final in that one. Not a whole lot, of course, on Thursday night in the world of college basketball, but those are a couple of noteworthy games from last night's action. Again, the Grizzlies losers last night. They're in action tonight. Tomorrow it will be the Tigers in action down at FedEx Forum, as they will be taking on Wichita State. Again, the one team that in conference play the Tigers have handled easily is Wichita State. They had the blowout win at Wichita State, and that's it. Every other game has been right down to the wire. And, of course, now 4 of them have been losses in conference play. So we'll see if maybe Wichita State is the remedy for what the Tigers, whatever it is that nobody seems to really be able to put their finger on, that is ailing the Tigers. But maybe Wichita State will be the key once again, and they can get another win over them. Try and get on track. Because then they go to Temple, who is bad. Like, they're really bad. Now, again, so is Rice, and so it doesn't really matter that they're that bad. You can't just assume the Tigers will go in there and win. But it's a chance if you beat Wichita State, beat Temple, maybe start getting a little positive vibes again, good feelings. But we'll have to see if that is able to happen. There was a trade in Major League Baseball yesterday, a big trade, really, as the Orioles acquire Corbin Burns from the Brewers for shortstop Joey Ortiz, left-handed pitcher D.L. Hall, and a draft pick. Burns won the 2021 Cy Young Award. Orioles looking for a number one starter. Got him. Now, he hasn't been as good the last couple of years as he was. 2021, when he won Cy Young Award, he was like unhittable. Last couple of years, he's still been good, not nearly that good. But the Orioles have put together obviously they were already really good last year when they made the playoffs, but they've made some nice additions in the offseason, and getting Corbin Burns for the top of that rotation, really, really good. The Brewers got a lot of free agents. They're not going to spend a whole bunch of money, all that type of stuff. So they continue to cut costs, although they did just make the move where they got Rhys Hoskins from the Phillies. Here's the one thing about the left-handed pitcher that the Brewers get in this trade. Do you really want a pitcher whose name is DL? Do you want any Major League Baseball player whose name is DL? That's disabled list in Major League Baseball.
Yeah,
you don't want,
I was thinking of comedian D.L. Hughley.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I want a guy named DL in Major League Baseball.
Unless it's like reverse psychology in a sense.
Yeah, it's if he has like Tommy John surgery immediately, it's just a bad deal. Like, oh, here we go. He's gonna he'll spend his career on the DL.
I feel bad for the people named TJ and gotta have to worry about Tommy John.
It would be like in the NFL, it's more IR. You don't want a guy named IR. That's injured reserve. They call it injured reserve. Major League Baseball calls it the disabled list. NBA calls it, I guess. They don't really call it. They don't because you don't put guys out for a certain number of games.
But they have them on like the injured list.
Yeah, there's like an injury report, but they don't, because in those sports you have like you have to miss this many games. Like you're on the 15-day disabled list or whatever. Major League Baseball. NBA, you're just injured. You're just out
until you get back.
Or you're out for the season, like everybody on the Grizzlies.
And then you miss next season, and you might come back the following season.
Yes. You're like the Grizzlies. You're like Steven Adams. You're out 3 to 5 weeks or 21 months. We don't know. It's all a guessing game at this point. It's easy to miss. It's easy to get that ballpark wrong. We thought it was 5 weeks. It was 21 months. So be it. We missed. We were that close.
Imagine telling someone, for example, like a weatherman. He's like, yeah, like, oh, it's definitely gonna rain on tomorrow, but it's like, well, it's sunshine, like 65 degrees.
It'll be like it's gonna rain tomorrow, and it rains like 5 weeks later. Like,
yeah.
See, I told you it's gonna rain. It just took a while to get there.
It's a delayed.
We'll see if again, Houston's taking the risk that Steven Adams is going to be healthy next year. I mean, I assume he will be, but I also assumed he was healthy this year.
Yeah.
When he showed up for camp and was playing in preseason games, I assumed he would play this year. Little did I know. That was just fake. That was fake Steven Adams in the preseason. Now
it didn't look fake to me.
Now they have real Steven Adams in Houston. We'll see if he can get ready to go for next year. Sean Merriman, by the way, was on a flight. He landed a little bit late, so he is still going to call, but he's going to be a little bit late. We are expected to have him still join us. Folks, Valentine's Day is coming, and boy, do I got a deal for you. I don't have the deal for you. Let's be honest. I don't have the deal for you. I'm just telling you about the deal. Genesis Diamonds has the deal for you. This is, there are people who will get flowers for Valentine's Day. People will buy their special someone chocolates for Valentine's Day. People will take their significant other out for dinner for Valentine's Day. People will get jewelry for Valentine's Day. Well, Genesis Diamonds has all of that in one package. You buy the jewelry, you get all of the other stuff for free. Yes, that's true. That's true. Go into Genesis Diamonds to Valentine's Day. Whether you're looking for an engagement ring to get engaged, whether you're just looking for maybe some other nice ring, some exquisite designer piece of jewelry, or something simple like a pendant or just a simple necklace or pair of ear, whatever. Spend $199, spend $199,000. It doesn't matter. They are going to give you, at no charge, chocolates, flowers, and a gift card for dinner at Restaurant Iris. I'm not lying. It's all true. So you can get the jewelry, and then get the flowers, the chocolates, and the dinner on the folks at Genesis. So don't waste your time. Get over there. Find that perfect piece of jewelry for that special someone. Get all of the other stuff as well. Genesis Diamonds, Poplar and Perkins Extended. Go see them and take advantage of this unbelievable Valentine's Day special. So you were at the Grizzlies game last night. I know you were working down there. So you did not get a chance to watch the Pro Bowl games. But Pro Bowl games, they had 5 events last night. 5 or 6 events last night. They'll have some more Sunday, and then they've got the flag football games today. I will maintain once again, and I am not ashamed to say it, these are more entertaining than the Pro Bowl game. The actual Pro Bowl game that they used to play when players didn't do anything. I think these are, people hate it, whatever, but I just think it's more entertaining. So last night you had the passing accuracy deal where they've got to hit targets that are point values all over the place. The quarterbacks were a little disappointing, I got to be honest. Baker Mayfield ends up winning it. But Tua was terrible. Tua couldn't hit any of the targets. He's supposed to be the most accurate passer in the league, and they couldn't hit the targets. I'm like, what the heck's going on here? It was Baker Mayfield versus C.J. Stroud in the final, and Baker ends up beating him in that one. And that's cool. I think that's fine. I think it's fun to watch them. They did the punt catching contest deal where you have to keep catching as many as you can while holding the other ones. And Miles Killebrew from the Steelers caught a punt, theoretically, it's kind of out of a machine. That's not an actual punt. But basically caught a punt while holding on to 5 other balls. So it's the 6th ball that he's catching, which is incredible. I want to see anybody go try and do that. Hold on to 5 footballs and catch a 6th without dropping any of them. You cannot drop any of them. It was that dude. That was incredible.
Was his other hand available?
He had them all, and then and I don't know if he stole the idea from, I can't remember who did it earlier, but somebody tried putting one of the balls between their knees and holding it there, but then the punt didn't come right to him, so they couldn't move, and so then they tried to move the ball there. Well, what he did, he waited until the ball was in the air. He kind of ran up to the spot where it was going to come down, took one of the balls real quick and put it between his knees, then was able to catch that other ball, and he went to the ground doing it and was able to hold on to all of them.
Oh, that's smart.
Dude, I was like, that's absolutely incredible. They had the snapping contest for the centers. That did not go well.
All over the place.
They had a target board, probably 10 yards behind them, and they're trying to snap the football through these holes on the target board. It didn't, they couldn't do it. It's hard. I would imagine that's really hard. Jason Kelsey couldn't hit it at all. He was terrible. The regular centers really struggled. The long snappers, one guy finally kind of figured it out. He just kept hitting the hole that was 1 point was bigger. It's kind of off to the side, and he just kept drilling that over and over again. They had the dodgeball, which, by the way, C.D. Lamb and Derrick Henry. If you ever happen to be in a dodgeball game and you have to choose, if you get to choose NFL players, get either C.D. Lamb or Derrick Henry on your team. Those two were amazing. C.D. Lamb was incredible in dodgeball, but Derrick Henry has a cannon. He could throw a dodgeball. And then they had the closest to the pin contest. No wonder the Cowboys can't win in the postseason. Or maybe it's because they're eliminated so far early in the postseason. Their guys are all golfing. Jake Ferguson hit it to 12 feet, and then Brian Anger hit it to 2 feet. They dominated the closest to the pin contest. There's only one other person that hit the green. The Cowboys, both guys stepped up and just striped it right at the flag. No wonder. Get them on the practice field.
You talking about Brandon Aubrey or Jake?
Jake Ferguson.
Oh, okay.
Hit it, and then Brian Anger, the punter, comes up and hits it to 2 feet.
Well, they had a lot of practice. So.
That's what I said. They've had some time. Speaking of the Pro Bowl, a guy who was familiar with Pro Bowls, he played in a few of those back in his day. Former San Diego Charger All-Pro linebacker Sean Merriman. Now he is, of course, with Lights Out Extreme Fighting, and he's got another big event coming up in February 16th, Lights Out 14. Sean Merriman joins us now on the program. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? How's it going?
Doing good. I was just talking about the Pro Bowl games that they're doing now. First of all, when you played in Pro Bowls, like, guys actually put a little bit of effort in. Like, you guys actually played some football. But what was the mentality going into a Pro Bowl?
You know, honestly, man, you knew you were going down there with a bunch of big names, right? And it's the first time you get a chance to be with them outside of a setting. I remember my first Pro Bowl, and I'm seeing Peyton Manning, you know, kind of sitting by the pool and having a drink and laughing and joking and being funny. I'm like, man, Peyton Manning is funny. You would have guessed that right off the field. And I think for us, it was a showcase, right? Because there's so many, like, just freakish athletes. There's so many big names. And you get down there, and it's like, man, damn, look at T.O. He's out there running, you know, 6'5" wide receiver running around like he does. So you're just amazed, right, to see everybody in a different setting, man. And that was the biggest part for me getting down there.
Did you feel like, as a defensive guy, like did you hold back? Like, are you afraid to hurt people? Like, how do you approach that part of it?
So the first half of the game is always light, right? You know, because the whole time we're out there, we're drinking Mai Tais with our families and friends and just hanging out. And, you know, we want to get in the game. You know, we know people pay the money to come and see you and people watching on TV until that first big hit. Now, that first big hit always changed the tempo of the game. And for us, I don't know if you guys remember Sean Taylor put that big hit on the front of performance. And we were kind of lax before that, man. You know, guys were going to make tackles and they were, you know, having fun. But after that hit, that game became very physical.
So would you have liked to have been in a Pro Bowl where they do it like they do now? Like, you could have played some dodgeball or anything like that?
Well, look, I got a 13-year-old son now, right? And I think that for kids and stuff like that, it's you know, it's drawing a crowd. It's a reason why the NFL didn't take it off the TV, because, you know, you probably still have 7 to 10 million plus people watching, right? And so for them, that's, you know, that's advertising dollars, that's marketing dollars, that's people buying tickets and buying memorabilia and apparel. I mean, everything. So it's still a big business, no matter how you look at it. As a player, though, as a mentality that I had, you know, you kind of just go through it and say, look, this is just all fun and games. We're, you know, put on a show for the fans and have fun, and it's one of those things, man. But my mentality going into the Pro Bowl always is that, hey, look, I'm not only a Pro Bowler, but I'm all pro, and I kind of want to prove that I'm the best. So me and my competitive attitude, I'm striking somebody with that damn dodgeball, right? Somebody's getting hit because I just want to go out there and win.
That's why I thought you said I got a 14-year-old really good at dodgeball, could train me up, and I'd be ready to go for this thing. But CD Lamb,
you got fun, man. You see it. Some of these guys are so freaking, like, so athletic, right? They can play multiple sports. They got an arm. They can. I mean, it's just you almost in a sense can see these guys just how freakishly of an athlete they are outside of playing football.
Well, you've got another big event coming up 2 weeks from today, as a matter of fact, February 16th, Lights Out 14. Tell us a little bit about this event.
Yeah, we got a huge fight in Long Beach, California. Lights Out Extreme Fight 14. Can't believe it's my 14th already, but this thing is growing pretty fast. This is our biggest and most explosive card yet. We'll be live on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. If you guys don't have Fubo, get it. We have 2 or 3 guys in this card that's going to end up in the UFC when they're done. So I cannot wait for everybody to see it, because these guys either be going to the Dana White Contender Series or something. I mean, these guys be going there, up-and-comers. Some of these guys already fought in the UFC trying to get back. So Lights Out Extreme Fight 14, February 16th. Make sure you guys catch that.
And it starts at what time?
It's 7 p.m. Pacific. So, about 9 o'clock you guys.
9 o'clock our time. Okay. So, okay.
Yeah.
Lights Out 14. Who are a couple of the names to watch for?
Albert Morales is on this card. That's the guy I was telling you about. He was in the UFC at one point, trying to get back there. Tommy Aaron, who's Tony Ferguson's guy, is also on this card. And we got an up-and-comer, man. It's A.J. Hodgkins. He played linebacker at Oregon. And, you know, we're having more and more of these former football players, man, transitioning over and starting their fighting career with us. So it's been great.
Makes sense that you would find some of those former football players that would come to your series to get that career started in MMA. Again, that's coming up 2 weeks from today. All right, you're a Chargers guy. Your thoughts on Jim Harbaugh?
It's excitement, man. I mean, that's the only thing you can hope for, right? Because there's no guarantees. And I said this before, and I think sometimes fans get a little bit too rowdy when they hear a big name, right? Like, hey, we bring in Bill Belichick, we bring in Jim Harbaugh, whatever big name, we're going to win games. It doesn't work that way. I think with Jim Harbaugh's approach, though, you watch his press conference and think he's saying all the right things because it's how he operates, right? And why he comes in and changes organizations and programs around like he's did in the past in college, because he starts these smaller building blocks, right? He's not coming in saying, hey, Super Bowl or bust. Nope, we got to come put the work in the weight room. He's talking about the weight room. Now, they didn't have that, right, with Brandon Staley coming in. It was the conversation didn't happen. It was like, hey, weight room, let's get after it every single day. Let's do this, let's do that. It was a different approach, and you can tell this is why Jim Harbaugh specializes in coming in and turning around teams immediately.
If it was up to you, and certainly it seemed like they targeted Harbaugh from the beginning, if you would have had the choice between Belichick or Harbaugh, which one would you have rather had?
Let's just say they made the choice. It was it's nothing against Belichick. I think that Bill Belichick has kind of put himself, and I'm not talking about him, but everyone else, kind of put him on a pedestal. He's been doing it for so long, so he comes in, he's going to require a lot. I mean, he just will. And this reason Atlanta didn't sign him, and they went another direction because you're coming in asking for a lot of authority, a lot of money. You want things a certain way. He can because he's won for so long. So there's not many organizations that's going to buy into that because times are changing, right? We're seeing these younger coaches, this different formula to winning, starting with Sean McVay. So times are changing and it's different.
Would you like to have played for a guy like Dan Campbell?
Oh, man, I love that dude. Honestly, very few coaches can get you in that mindset to go out, win football games, and then change the mentality of your entire team from top to down. He did just that for Detroit. It couldn't work more perfect than anything else. And then finally, your thoughts on the Super Bowl. What do you think? San Francisco, Kansas City, who you got? I can't pick against Patrick Mahomes, man. I just can't. Look, they're not as dominant. They're not as good as they once were, but they still go out and win football games. So I got to go with Kansas City, even though I hate it there in the division. But they're just so good, man. They know how to win. It's funny because they thought, okay, now he's got to go on the road. This is finally. They keep wanting to put dirt on their grave, and yet here they are once again back in the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's them. And these guys have been doing it for so long. I can't see them losing this game. Again, Lights Out 14 coming up 2 weeks from tonight, Friday, February 16th. You could catch it on Fubo Sports. Lights Out Extreme Fighting is owned by Sean Merriman, and he's kind enough to join us from time to time to talk about those events. We certainly always appreciate it. Sean, thank you so much. Enjoy the Super Bowl and have a great event. You got it, man. Thanks for having me. And check all the information out on lightsoutxf.com, and we'll be live on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. Thank you so much. Sean Merriman joining us here on the program. Folks, if you've got a move coming up, you want to make sure you get the right people to help you, the right people to do that for you, the right professionals. Don't be trying to do it yourself. Don't be asking your friends to help you. Get the professionals to do it right for you. Black Tie Moving, 901-316-6196, or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Talk with the folks at Black Tie, and they'll work with you coming up with a plan, fitting exactly what you need from them. Maybe that's doing everything from the packing to the unpacking. Maybe that's simply picking up the stuff and moving it and dropping it off. Whatever it is. Maybe you need some storage. Whatever. They'll take care of you. They're going to work with you to come up with that plan, fitting exactly what it is you need, fitting your budget, and they give you a no-obligation quote up front as well. Again, 901-316-6196, or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. If you've got a move coming up, get the professionals from Black Tie Moving to take the stress and worry out of the process for you. Back to wrap things up right after this, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go. So Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. Two final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
They say you can't pick the best barbecue in Memphis.
Who is they?
The people that say things.
Like what?
Well, that you can't pick the best barbecue in Memphis.
Well, that's ridiculous. It's Central Barbecue.
Well, I'm telling you, these people said that you can't even say Central Barbecue is the best barbecue in Memphis.
But it is. There's no better slow smoked, perfectly cooked barbecue in Memphis or anywhere else.
Look, I'm just saying that they say.
What else do they say?
Well, that the earth is flat.
You have got to get off of social media.
That's what they say as well.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning!
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So what a weekend we have as far as basketball is concerned. Here locally, you got the Grizzlies tonight hosting the Warriors. Then Sunday, the Grizzlies will be on the road at Boston. So they play the Warriors and Boston this weekend. You've got, of course, the Tigers against Wichita State at FedEx Forum tomorrow at noon. As I mentioned, if you're looking for something to do, the Hustle hosting the G League Ignite. So the Ignite with 4 possible first-round picks for this year on their roster, including Ron Holland and Matas Bazelis, who are the top 2 guys who both could theoretically, wouldn't be surprised if they both went in the top 10 or certainly both in the lottery. So you got some good young talent with the G League Ignite. Hustle play tomorrow night and then Sunday afternoon as well. Just around the world of college basketball, tomorrow, how about Houston at Kansas? How about Duke, North Carolina? How about Tennessee, Kentucky? Like, there is some great college basketball tonight or tomorrow. Ole Miss will be hosting Auburn. Should be another raucous atmosphere down in Oxford with Bruce Pearl and company coming to town. There's a lot of great basketball action that you can check out this weekend, either here locally or on TV. Speaking of the Tigers, by the way, their game tomorrow against Wichita State, I've got 4 tickets, 4-pack of tickets for the Tigers-Wichita State game tomorrow. Is this the one? The Tigers finally end the losing streak? Boy, you have to think it is, right? Like, you got to be able to get a win. 4-pack of tickets for caller number 4 as the Tigers try and end a 4-game losing streak. We're going with the 4s. Caller number 4 for 4 tickets to end the 4-game losing streak. 360-8255. 360-8255. Caller number 4, 4 tickets for the Tigers and Wichita State tomorrow, a noon game, again, down at FedEx Forum. It's going to be a very quick turnaround from the Grizzlies game tonight for that crew to get the floor changed over for a noon game tomorrow with the Tigers. Caller number 4, 4 tickets for the Tigers and the Shockers tomorrow at FedEx Forum. That is going to do it for us for the day and for the week as well. Do want to say a big thank you to John Varlas, to Matt Dillon, to Brandon Lang, and to Sean Merriman as well for all coming on the program today. We certainly appreciate that. We'll be back here on Monday. Greg will be back on Monday as well, as we'll recap this huge weekend of basketball action, and hopefully we're talking about a win for the Tigers and, hey, maybe a couple of wins. Again, the game at Boston looks daunting, but remember, the Lakers won at Boston last night without LeBron and without Anthony Davis. So maybe the Grizzlies can go in there and get a win, and maybe they can knock off the Warriors for the 2nd time this year at FedEx Forum tonight when they battle there. Coming up next, it is Wolo and Friends right here on Sports 56. Dave Woloshin will be in for that. For Zach Boyd, I'm Eli Savoy saying so long. Have yourself a great weekend, and we will talk to you again on Monday right here on Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.